What's up, everybody? Welcome to Into the Void, episode 16. Is this right? Episode 16, I believe.
Cool.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going? Happy Thursday night. It's gonna be a heated one. If you haven't seen the preliminary video to this, go check it out on the channel. It basically looks like the thumbnail of this video that you've clicked on here, and it's kind of the preliminary. I decided to open my big mouth and give an opinion that I'm sure everybody wanted to hear, just like everybody these days. And I decided to do a follow-up video because a follow-up podcast, rather, because it's kind of a big topic. It kind of deserves more than 10, 12, whatever it was. So we're going to talk more about that subject matter tonight on the podcast. Can't wait. And really, I want to hear more on hopefully we get some people in here and can give their thoughts, because the video that I did titled Just Buy Comics That You Love is bullshit. It got way more engagement than any other video that I've ever done. So I think a lot of people have a lot to say about that topic, and I would love to hear everybody's opinion. Honestly, I would like to just see where we're at as a hobby, as a community. And we're going to slowly trickle into that as people start coming in. But, of course, if you haven't noticed already, there's not one but two extremely good-looking gentlemen on the screen tonight.
Yeah.
What's up, buddy? Clean shaven.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, just wanted to grow back as soon as I can. But, yes, indeed, I did shave the beard because
dude,
every now and then the wife lets me know it's time to go without saying it at all. Just,
right.
Non-verbal communication is what happens,
Yeah, you look wonderful, man.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Also, just so you know, today's show is brought to you by the beautiful Juvie Juice right here. If you haven't had it, you should have it. It's amazing. By our local hip-hop artist, Juvenile. Back that ass up.
What brewery makes that one again?
This is Urban South. It's really good, man. It's like an Arnold Palmer for sure, if you like that kind of sophisticated drink.
When I was like 3 or 4 drinks into a barge right off the coast of Destin. So I don't know. It all tasted good at that point. You
had one. Did somebody bring it there, or it was just there for sale?
Yeah. Somebody brought it there. There was a boat that dropped this off on Crab Island right off of Destin. And, everybody brought their own drinks, and somebody had a few of those. So that's first and last time that I had one. But yeah, they were really, really good.
You come around this crib, you're gonna have some Juvie Juice, motherfucker. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah. But
absolutely. So we're just I'm just keeping my eye on the chat and waiting for some people to trickle in here before You Promise Me Comics. What is up? Who are these guys?
Royalty. Yeah.
Well, you might recognize me, but the guy on the right, nobody knows who that is.
It's not that often. I mean, it's not that. I shave every now and then. Come on.
I have never seen you since I met you, man. Shaving.
Really?
I swear. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Since I met you, again. You have not been clean shaven.
Okay. And my haircut. I get a suit on. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. And let's get the housekeeping stuff out the way real quick. Of course, if you are watching this on the rewind or live, hit the like button. Helps support the channel, push the stream out there, let everybody know that we're out here chatting. And then also Sunday I got a new video coming out, and this one's pretty fun, pretty cool. This is Sunday's video. This is the thumbnail. How did we evolve? The road to the modern comic book. 11 books that literally changed everything in comics. So it's fun, man. This is a cool little video. It's informative. It's different. And yeah, this is I really enjoy talking about this stuff. So this is uploaded already. So go ahead and if you go to the page. and click. Well, it's not live. It's not aired. It's going to air Sunday at what time Sunday?
10:30. No, you do like 10:30 or something like that.
10:15. Yeah, 10:15 Sunday. Jono's in the house. What's up, buddy?
Hey, he made it early. Good. Hey, there he is.
So typically 10:15 it'll air, and that's it. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. My Grail's on here. My all-time Grail ever is number I think 6 or 7.
Has it changed? Or is it still the one that I know that it is? Because I remember there's one that you were all about when we first met, and you're like, I'm going to have this book. But then you got it. And do you have... It the one
no.
It's not that one anymore?
It's not that one. Which is a great segue into tonight's topic. Okay. Right? Yeah. Because that when I first started collecting, it's right here.
Yep. I was gonna act like I knew you better than anybody. I was gonna be like, there it is. That's the Grail right there.
Yeah. This is still the Grail? This is it right here. No, because it's not, because when I bought this, I knew very little about comics. I only knew the tip of the iceberg. But
look, let me tell you, when you got that, you were so excited. You text me and somebody else who hopefully will show up here tonight, and you were like, look what I've done, guys. I finally did this. And we were like, yay, like around the cauldron doing the little dance and things like that, because you pulled it off and then you got it slabbed and it was great. Or did you hey, even more, ladies and gentlemen, he bought it slabbed by a CBS or what is it?
Yeah, CBCS,
CBCS, and then he got home, cracked it out, pressed it, and then sent it up to CGC. Maniac.
Yeah. Which is, you're right. No, you're absolutely right. That is a very dangerous thing to do. Don't recommend doing that, especially for a Grail. And when I did that to this book was a, in your hand raw book, probably a $900 book or something like that. So very, very risky. Thankfully, it didn't come back a lower grade. But I would rather a 9.6 CGC than a 9.6 CBCS, because CGCs, they sell for more money. Period. There's just if ands or buts about that. But I love this book. This book kickstarted me to buying comics, man, because like I said, good segue into the whole topic for tonight. But why I started collecting comics was because I wanted to read more Star Wars. I wanted to get more into the world and all that stuff. And so I go into one of my local comic shops, start buying some back issues in Star Wars. And then I start looking at some Darth Vader ones, and I start searching through eBay, and I see this beautiful cover in front of me. This is the first appearance of Doc Aphra. This is a 1-in-25 variant by Salvador LaRocca, and it just knocked me out of my fucking shoes. And I was like, I need to get this book. Oh wait, the buy it now is $1,800. Why is so? Wow. Yeah, it's stupid. It might even
21, right? Isn't that 21?
This is 20. No, this is 20. Late. Wait, hold on. Whenever the High Republic came out, which was the beginning of 21, I think, actually. Or no, actually, it might have been the beginning of 20. So
you were questing this book out in the comic boom, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This book was one of the many that were huge in the comic boom. So, that's when I saw this book, I got into the hobby for, the reading of it and the stories and the lore. But there's another part of me, a duality, that took over and was like...
The dark side?
Yeah. And no, I don't want to call it the dark side. It's just the different side that says, we got to get this book one day. And it took me almost 1 year to the day.
The Johnny side.
The Johnny, yeah. It took me. I'm a natural collector. I've collected baseball cards. I've collected Pogs. I've collected. I went through 1 year of collecting Disney Christmas ornaments. All right, we're not happy about that. But I'm a collector at heart. So once I saw the rarity of this book and how beautiful it was, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. It's just gonna be a matter of time. And that's when I just went face first into the hobby. And it wasn't just about, reading. It still was, though. I still was doing that. I was reading trade paperbacks like crazy for Star Wars. But, enough rambling about me rambling about that. Well, let me ask you this. Kev, so you saw the video. What's your thought? What is your initial thoughts on that video?
So I felt like I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed, dude. Like, cause I watch your video. What I do is I have like my little Sunday morning thing. I read the paper, drink some coffee. Yeah, and when you put it on, I don't watch it immediately because I'm usually doing something. But within the hour of you putting it out, I went and watched it. And I was like, okay, cool. It was like 11 minutes long, maybe something like that. It wasn't super long, maybe 9, something like that. I started watching it, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I started getting in my feels pretty quick because you were like, how can you say collect and love things and then you judge people for what they collect? I'm like, son of a bitch.
Right.
I couldn't even look in the mirror, Johnny. Couldn't even look in the mirror, man, because here I am. I'm literally the guy you're talking about. And I felt so ashamed. I mean, like, I tried to justify it. I was kind of like, well, maybe I'm not that guy, maybe, but no, I am the guy. I'm literally the guy. Sure. So I literally I walked out of the bedroom after I watched it, and I was kind of like, I need to be a new man. You know, I felt like going and like joining like the monks somewhere because I was such a hypocrite in life. And then the nice thing is you kind of like let people off the hook at the end of it. But I definitely felt like I was, whereas I felt like I was part of the answer for the hobby because I'm a reader and, you know, I collect because I love to read. I then realized that I was also what's wrong with the hobby because, like, dude, in the end, like, fuck, if you make a fucking money, spend your money how you want. And I can't believe I fell right into the trap of being the guy who's like, why in the fuck would you buy this?
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So I apologize.
Dude, no, hey man, no. Let me say everything you just said. Amen to that. And then also, you are that guy. Even if you are that guy, I still love you. I still am. I wouldn't trade anything in this hobby that, you know, because we connected because of the hobby, honestly. So I wouldn't trade anything about you or about me or anything. And it's fine that's how you were feeling or you express the way, whatever you want to express. It's all gravy. But keep in mind, you're not the only person that has that mentality. And like I said, before I made that video, I was like, okay, I'm about to say something like that's going to piss a lot of people off. So I was like, let me really sit down and think, do I need to say this? Do I really feel this way about this? Right. When I say something like that. And I have taken that phrase, buy what you love. Right. And I put it in every perspective of every single buyer and seller that I can think of. And at the end of it, I was like, I'm making this fucking video because I feel a certain way about this fucking phrase. So
you're like Jerry Maguire. You had to like make the thing. Yeah. Have you ever seen Jerry Maguire, the movie? Have you ever seen the movie Jerry Maguire?
Yeah.
You know, when he like wrote his little
ago, but
you were like Jerry Maguire, man. You just wrote how it should be. And then you put it out there but you didn't get fired.
Yes. I didn't get fired. Majority of the response to the buy what you love is bullshit video that I did, that it was mainly good. So I look at percentages of like, okay, how many people look at the video, and then out of the people that looked at it, how many like it? So it's about a 10% people liked it that actually practice clicking the like button, and it's about a 1% people click the thumbs down. So I think the video is something at like 1,200 views right now, and I think it's got like 11 dislikes, and it's got like 102 likes. So that kind of gives you an idea of the people that viewed the subject matter and how they feel about the buy what you love is bullshit statement.
How could somebody? Okay, like, all right. So I've already kind of aired my laundry out there, and here's something else. Like I said, people who've never watched us before, tune into us now. So you are a collector / seller. But you go for key books, you know, like, but you're not a cover chaser, really. I joke about that, you know, like earlier on you might have been, but now you've evolved into what you are now, you know. But and again, like I said, the reason we work so well is because like our personalities mesh well, you know, like that's and so we always knew this was going to be a fun thing that we do because you're on the business side of it, and I'm like, you know, I'm holding the flag going on, I'm on the reader side of it, you know, and
right.
And so, like I said, I mean, it's always been fun because we've been able to meet in common ground and have some beers and laugh about everything. But again, like I guess the thing was I always felt like I was not anything wrong with what you do at all. But I mean, like I always felt like I was altruistic in the fact that I was like, you know, I'm keeping the writers employed because I'm reading these books and I'm thinking about things and I'm talking to people who are reading books. You know, I don't care about cover B, C, D, E, and F. You know, I don't care about these micro variants that have like you know, foil and things like that.
Yeah.
And then actually just to bring someone who's in the room here. Let me see here. You Promised Me Comics. They released a metal covered book a year or so ago, and I was so intrigued by what that was. And I met Jeremy Spark, before I knew he had the book out. He's a great guy, you know, and like so he had this variant book he put out, this metal covered book, and I was like, well, what is this? Why do we have a metal covered book? But I also wanted one because I wanted to know why a comic book would have a metal cover. You know, like that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But and I wasn't judging that because I think it's cool, but at the same time, that also shows how hypocritical I am, because like then you look on like Whatnot and things like that, and they have these books that are just ridiculous. Like I don't need to see one more fucking Spider-Man 300 homage book ever. You know, I don't need to see Wolverine or Hulk, whatever, with the fucking claws ever again.
Yeah.
And so like I started to rail against people who kept making these versions over and over and over again. But I mean, like, who the fuck am I to say anything negative about anything? Because like, here I am collecting what I like, and just thinking I'm on my high horse about, you know, what other people should or shouldn't collect. I mean, I'm no fucking better than anybody else.
Sure.
You know, so
yeah. There's a I agree with what you're saying. I mean, and that's just part of like I think that's part of re-entering the hobby too. You know, is you're kind of figuring out like, because the last time that you were in the hobby, you were a kid, right? You were reading the issues because you loved them. And now you come to it and it has evolved more so. It's evolved since I've entered the hobby, which isn't all that long ago. So it's constantly changing and evolving, right? So now you're like seeing like, okay, well, hold on, there's a different side to this that is just as like equivalent as the reader side. And for the record, I'm not just a sole seller. I'm not just a sole paper hoarder. I do read. I read the things that I enjoy. I might not read. New Comic Book Day, I tried it. I wasted a lot of money on New Comic Book Day. It's not for me. But I will collect new covers that I like. I will read things that I enjoy from back in the day. There you go. And it's just something that I found out a year. It took me a year basically to find that out of really how I want to do this hobby for myself and how I want to incorporate that. So what started me to say to do that video was because every time, you know, the whole buy what you love sentiment, every time that's been said, I started to notice, I was like, okay, every time that's said, it's surrounded by another part of the hobby, which is speculation, investment, cover buying. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like it's a flagship motto for the true collector, the old school collector, the reader, the quote unquote true fan of like the hobby. It's almost like them saying, look, put all that spec stuff away, just buy what you love, just stay true to your heart. And once I realized, and what made me realize that, I'm like, okay, I was like, well, I think that's why it is. But what other hobby? And I made like little slides that we can pull up just to kind of keep me on track, because I have so many thoughts about this, and I don't want to get sidetracked. But let me see if I can find it real quick, and then maybe that'll like keep me on track. And by all means, anybody in the chat, Rev, the slide that I pull up, it's just going to say a statement on it. If you're just
trying to piss us all off tonight, huh? I like this. Let's go.
No. I want to.
I'm gonna leave by the end of the night. Fuck this.
This is a hobby. This is a self-dissection of the hobby, is what it is. We are like delving into ourselves and figuring out why we do this shit. Hold on. Let's see the outcome. So hold on one second. Yeah, go ahead.
Something. So it's like, I remember, okay, so like for baseball cards and things like that, or sports cards, you said you collected cards as well. I remember going to like, so we're in New Orleans, if you guys are checking in. And when I was a kid, I went to, I wasn't a kid. I was like 2-3 years ago, excuse me. I went to a Saints practice. I got invited to a Saints practice. And like, it was so weird because like, you got at the end of the practice, everybody lines up to get like autographs and signatures and things like that. And then you have like grown men holding cards like over kids' heads, or having their kids sign things. And like, I remember thinking to myself, this is before I was collecting comic books. I was kind of like, dude, like, this is fucking sad. You know, these people are like trying to get these signatures and cards just so they can sell them. and these poor kids are just getting
right,
trampled and things like that. And
Yeah.
So I'm saying there's always nothing can be just pure. We can't be like, oh, we all walk in the room and we're like, this is amazing.
Sure.
We all love each other.
Yeah.
Even if you preach unity, like I spent my entire life in the punk rock community, we're always like unity, unity, unity. But I fucking swear to you, it wasn't unity. Like it was the sense was there and people talked about it. But it's like in the comic book community, we say like, oh, there's unity. But I swear to you, when you walk in places, there's cliques of everything. It just, and it can't be. And I'm not trying to start like a fight saying like, oh well, these are the CGC people and these are like the the readers. It doesn't matter, but it's like it's weird because like when you walk into a con, there's definitely like different factions of people what they're collecting, and like and there's always got to be somebody who thinks they're better than you, and that their collection's better than you. And talking about collecting, I don't know why I'm even collecting at some points. I'm kind of like, what am I collecting this for? Who am I going to impress these books with?
Right. Hey, I tell you right now, look at all of this. We'll cut right to the end. All of this collecting shit is just buying time until we're out of time. It's all just something to keep the brain going, something to keep you moving, because when you don't move, you rust, right? It's that old saying of like, you just got to keep doing what you're doing, whether it being for whatever reason. It's just keep doing. Fingers and Toes, what's up? A friend of the channel, for sure. And also real quick before I bring up the slide, Manny, the Hobgoblin Collector, nice man.
Sorry.
No, you get. I'm a niche collector, no new comic book day, non-comic stuff, and mostly Hobgoblin Spidey books. I don't judge anyone else. It's a great perspective to have. Very nice. And then our buddy Jeremy says, no judgment to what people buy, but still going to buy what I love. I'm there for the read. I'm not a collector per se. There you go. All right.
He's a perfect example of this whole thing. The guy, whenever I see him on New Comic Book Day, he always joyful. He always has a stack of books that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
He'll have 20 books that you've never heard of. And and he's always very happy about it. And like I said, Sparks brings joy to me when I see his books and go like, I've never heard them. I probably will never read them, but fucking rock on, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah, exactly. That type of love and passion in his own way, right, is infectious to different types of people. It's infectious. It makes you. It's just nice when you see somebody love something else, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. I wonder if there's a part of me that could love this hobby the same way that you do, but you're still stuck in your own niche and your own kind of way of doing things. But it's admirable at the very least to see somebody who just reads and reads and reads and reads and reads. It's amazing.
I mean, maybe I'm just a jealous fuck, Johnny. Maybe I'm just jealous of everybody, like maybe I'm so selfish in my ways and jealous that whenever I see something I can't have, I just like make fun of it. I mean, is this a personal referendum? Do I need a fucking sofa? Sure. Can we like lay down and talk about this?
That's what this whole thing is about. That's what this whole thing is about.
I mean, I think that might be a lot of it. I mean, but sometimes I don't know if I ever told you about my brother having a Cabbage Patch baby, but like I said, like when you see something
I think you did.
Yeah, when people have like things you like, you go, "Oh, I really would like that," Like I think it's hard to rise above as a human being and just be fucking happy for somebody when they have it and not be like, "Oh, I want that too." Like I look at your wall behind you, Oh, cut me off.
Yeah. Well, no. I was going to say what you're saying right now. What's crazy is so there's a guy, y'all probably know him by now on Instagram, Josh's Comic Books, right? He is a complete. He's on the polar opposites. He's been on both ends of what we're talking about right now, and exactly what you just said. He is probably the poster child of buy what you love, fuck FOMO, fuck speculation, fuck Hot 10 list. Right? He's like,
who's this again? You cut out right as you said that. Who's this?
Oh, his name is Josh's Comics on Instagram. Honestly, go follow him. I'm not talking bad about the guy at all. He's got a good channel. He's a very generous, comic book person. I don't know what you call people, but he's a person of the community. He always spotlights other people's collections and things like that. But he is a huge preacher of buy what you love, right? So I typically, when I see his videos that talk about, fuck FOMO and all this stuff. But the other day he did one that was great, and I 100% instantly gave him props. He said, just a piece of comic advice is don't worry about anybody else's collection. Don't worry about what somebody else has. don't be jealous of what other people have. You know, he's like, if you want to keep your head level into your own collection, what you're trying to do, you can't worry about that stuff, you know? And I was like, and I immediately met, I was like, dude, I said, that is the message, right? Your whole fuck FOMO, fuck top 10 books, fuck the mainstream, fuck Comic Tom, all that stuff, right? No. The thing that you just said, don't be jealous of people's collection. That's more useful than the stuff that you've been preaching for the past month, you know? So I was like, that's useful information. That's great. And just to try to get back on track to the whole topic at hand, what one of the things that started me thinking of that video that I was going to do that is this right here, this question right here, or this statement, really. It's not a saying in any other collectible other than comics.
Is that true? I mean,
so I've collected cards, I've collected Pogs, I've collected Christmas ornaments, I've collected many things. Because it's funny. I've collected a lot of things in my life. Blu-rays, DVDs. I had walls of DVDs. Chris Clinton, who you know very well, right? Him and I were hardcore Blu-ray. Black Friday, dude, we would load up the cart with Blu-rays. I'd spend $400 on Blu-rays on Black Friday, and I would get like over 100. I've collected a lot of stuff. I've never seen this saying in any other collectible market other than comics. So what does that mean?
Yeah, you know, a collection. Okay, so I don't know. Is it like a smoke screen for something? Is it like, what are we saying it for? I mean, like,
well, here's the thing. I think after in art, it's not saying in just buy what you love. Is it saying in art? I don't know. I've collected art. I got a bunch of Mondo posters. I've got a bunch of different art prints from Bottleneck Gallery and Mondo posters. I've never hung amongst a bar room of art collectors saying buy what you love.
Well, you're right. Let's stay with that. Art collectors. Let's say, okay, you say sports cards. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, there's not like a but see, with comic books, okay, let's say this. With comic books, it's interesting because, like, this is something that's actually like multi-leveled. You can look at the art. You can appreciate the art. You can appreciate the art. You can appreciate the writing. You can appreciate the lettering. You can appreciate, you know, how old it is, how new it is, how colorful. Yep. There's so many facets to this. That's why I think it's such a divergent path about what people are collecting, what they like. And 100%. I think when people get mad, so like, just to try and make myself feel better about myself, I think that, like, since I've been back in the hobby now for 2 years, which is not enough time to really like throw weight around, but I think that I'm so like excited to bring people into the hobby. Like I said, and I've been very lucky to have a few friends who have joined in with me and to have met friends like we've said before. Newest member of our crew, John O, for sure. So happy to have him. But it's like, it's one of those things where if I'm bringing somebody into the hobby and then you feel like the people like the Comic Toms, and again, I don't know the guy, I don't care. He's not even a part of my universe. I don't know what even he's got going on. But you have these kind of like what people say like vultures descend upon these people and like totally fucking skew what they may actually want by saying this is what you need. This is what you need. And you may think like this is what I need. I may need the 101 of this book that, you know, it's got foil and fucking real I don't know, saliva from the artist on it or something like that. And I don't know. Right. But it's like I feel like sometimes that gets bogged down where you can't actually find somebody who would like really love the story because they're so like immediately, you know, caught up in this like cocaine, heroin induced mania of these books that like don't mean anything, you know, and then you're $400 down and you're not happy when I could have just said like, hey man, pick up Extinction Agenda, you know, hey man, pick up The Court of Owls, you know, like in DC, hey man, pick up Invincible, hey man, pick up Saga, you know how I go.
Yeah. And, but here's the thing though, you pushing great stories is no different than somebody else pushing great art or great covers, right? Because they're pushing art, they're pushing like the stuff that you're talking about is mainly derived towards art. And I mean, like from the other people saying like, hey, buy this cover, buy this new variant that there's only 100 count and we can't even verify it. Like that stuff it's just a different side of the hobby. So, but in reality, you know that yours comes from good intentions. Because you're like, hey, I've read these stories. I can recommend them to you. But from a third party perspective, it is no different than me pushing art, you pushing stories, you know, or whatever. You just it comes down to this. Every collector, we're going to say 95, disagree in the comments if you do. 95% of the comic book collectors are grown adults. And most of them, I tell you what, the people, so when I look at the analytics of the people that watch my YouTube video, it is 28 to 45. Mm-hmm. If that age range is not mentally sound enough or financially responsible enough to make their own decision on what, no matter who's pushing them, if somebody tries to sell a vacuum cleaner on my front door, I'm kicking them the fuck off the fucking front door. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy anything that I don't want. So I'm saying this is a hobby that's pretty much filled with a lot of adults. And most of these adults, you just kind of got to just worry about what you're collecting and quit trying to save everybody, because everybody's a fucking adult. You know what I'm saying? The best thing that you can do is maybe instruct your kids who are getting into to comics. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and again, look, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, I watched the video and I was kind of like, bro, I was kind of ashamed, because like, I think that because I try and be a good person and like a good ambassador to what we're kind of doing, that it feels dirty to try and steer them to these like triple foil things and stuff like that, you know, it's really like, it's like, you know, like when so I like sports. I don't gamble on sports. And there are people who don't like sports at all, but only gamble on sports, you know, like, and I would go to them and be like, you're wrong for the sport, because you're trying to delve into all the worst spots of worst parts of any kind of sport out there would be like, you're gambling, you know, like that whole thing. I mean, look, it's not wrong. No, you can do whatever you want, you know, but maybe it makes me feel better about myself to think that I at least think that I tried to do the right thing, you know, again. Johnny, what are we talking? We're talking about fucking paper. You're right, but I mean, like, it's weird that it's weird that we can assign, you know, a value to something that you know, and then when you look at,
in that sense, I mean, money is paper, right? Oh no, it's not. No, you corrected me on this before. Money is not paper. This is why it doesn't deteriorate in the washing machine. So what is it again?
It's like cloth. It's like fabric. It's like a woven fabric of some sort. But like the thing is, like, again, I mean, like the joy these things bring you. I get it, the relative like rareness of it. But if we were all doing the right thing, we'd only be collecting like Copper Age stuff or Bronze Age stuff. You know what I'm saying? Is that right? Bronze? Yeah, the bronze is what you like. Yeah, we'd only be collecting bronze because like it's not going to change. You know, it should in theory always go up in value, or at least hold its value. It should be a currency of sorts. You know,
bronze. I mean, bronze, silver, golden age. That's all the stuff that, you know. That's it. There's not, it's a finite number. There's not going to be any more. The print run is pretty, you know, transparent, you know, and stuff like that. But so to kind of move to, okay. So here's, again, something else I was thinking about this saying, let's say, this touches on what you just said. You wanted to feel like you were doing, kind of like a good deed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
What's up, Ferdbird?
1 sec. What's up, dude? Ferdbird is good dude, great channel. Sub up to Ferdbird. Let me hold on. Let me get out of this. He's got a podcast in 20 minutes. Don't nobody leave this motherfucker.
Yeah, thank you. Next time.
but sub up to Ferdbird's channel. Good dude. He does a lot of market stuff on even more than comics, like the housing market, stocks, and things like that. Very knowledgeable in commerce and things like that. But really cool. All right, I'm trying to find the slide, and we're gonna have him on too for a podcast in the future. Let's see. I don't think. Okay, I didn't make a slide for this one, but guess what? All right, so here's what it is. Here's what the slide would say. The slide would say, at the very best, buy what you love. It's just bad advice. It's just bad advice. So here's what I mean by that.
But how can it be bad advice, though? But how can it be bad advice?
Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you. So,
hey, 5-year-old Johnny, say that, bad advice.
No. Well, when you're saying that, you're saying that to two types of people: an experienced an experienced comic collector, an experienced comic collector, or an inexperienced comic collector. Okay. So I'm somebody that's just getting into the hobby, and you tell me, dude, just buy what you love. I'm going to say, okay, great. What the fuck is that? I've just gotten into this hobby. I came here for a couple of Star Wars books, and you want me to buy what I love. I mean, so for one, you're capping off the potential of what I can enjoy, because if you're saying just buy what you love, I'm just going to keep buying Star Wars books. I'm not going to deviate. Right. And two, the very saying itself, just buy what you love, negates the mindset of use the hobby to fund the hobby. Because if you're going to fund the hobby yourself, you're not buying what you love. You're going to have to buy some shit that you don't give a fuck about. And you're going to have to buy some stuff that you're going to have to flip and resell.
Yeah, but
am I wrong?
Okay, but then you're negating the people that don't have anything to do with any of that. There's probably somebody today. So New Comic Book Day was yesterday. There had to be somebody who walked into the local comic book shop, doesn't talk to people who work there, and just buys a handful of comic books, says thank you, and leaves, and knows nothing about the entire industry. You know, doesn't know anything or doesn't care. And that look, that actually goes to even religion. And I don't want to go into religion, but I mean, it doesn't exist if you don't know about it. It's not even guilt by innocence by omission. I mean, you don't have to know about the comic book industry. You don't have to care. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can just be I go in for, my few, my Poison Ivy book, my Marvel book. You go in for your books and you leave. You say thank you and you go by. You go home and you read them. And then, quite honestly, you may throw them the fuck away. You may think that $12 a week is okay for 3 books, and you just throw them away. You don't care that Miss Marvel's first cover as a mutant is out. You don't give a shit. You just throw it away. So I mean, we can't even dictate. And like I said, you and I are nobodies in the grand scheme of things. But it's weird to even dictate. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying to dictate, even say oh, hey, this is potentially you're one of 2 people, because there's a third option is a person who doesn't fucking know that any of it exists and also doesn't even care.
Sure.
So I mean,
but here's the thing. What this all comes from is the statement, right? Just buy what you love. It's like a statement. It's a way of it's like a motto for a certain portion of the comic collecting community, and it's honestly it's a very loud portion of the comic collecting community. Jeremy Sparks just said real quick, just to touch on this: discover what you love and then buy that. Absolutely, yeah. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Here's the thing, though. Keep in mind, my gripe is not with the sentiment. Because hold on, I created a ticker. The thing that flies across the top of the screen?
Yeah. What you got?
I created one. Oh wait, hold on. Is that it?
No, let me get rid of the one we have here.
There you go. I never said don't buy what you love. I never said don't buy what you love. I'm saying the statement
you said
as bullshit. The statement is bullshit, but it's trying to save people from a certain part of the hobby, because and again, this brings back to the first slide. What other collectible is this in? Why are we even saying this? I have another slide of 5 other different sayings you can tell somebody new or old in the hobby that's going to be more useful than just buy what you love. Okay, so with Jeremy saying, absolutely discover, buy what you love. That's a great way to go about it. Because that's part of every hobby. You kind of have to just figure out what you like. But the thing is, the sentiment is a thing because they're trying to save people's wallets. They're trying to keep people from buyer's remorse, and they're trying to keep people from another side of the hobby that in the mind of the person saying buy what you love, they're like, hey, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to keep you from buyer's remorse. I'm going to keep you from wasting your money. I'm going to keep you from buying shit that doesn't matter. 1, you're in no place to tell anybody any of that stuff. And then 2, the only thing that can technically save somebody's wallet or investment in this hobby is 1, if they don't give a fuck, right? If they're in it and they don't even care if they waste money. 2 is if they buy things that hold value. That's the only way that you can really try to save your wallet. So I know that was a little bit of a rant, but
no, it's great. You're right. You're right about it. Sorry, my kiddo just came home from babysitting.
No, you're good.
No,
go ahead.
Okay, listen. So you think that it's like saving people from the hobby? I was thinking about this when you said it. I feel that so I with what I'm doing on our side with us is I like to find like minds and then nurture the friendship and things like that. I mean, Intense Ewok, who's in the chat, maybe if he isn't, he'll show up. again, I've actually never met the guy in real life. He's a wonderful human being, I'm sure. But I started to bring him along comic books, and we actually would watch comic book shows, and then like he started collecting, and I'm very like happy because now we talk about a bunch of stories. But the collect what you love thing. Okay, look, why did you first go to comics? Just because you wanted to find out more about Star Wars? You'd seen all the movies, you'd read some books, and you're kind of like, I need even more Star Wars. I'm gonna diverge for a second here. You wanted more Star Wars in your life. You're like, I've already collected all the Christmas ornaments. I've already collected all the Pogs. And you're like, I need more Star Wars. So I mean, like, you thought to yourself, can you even think back to where you actually first were like, oh, I'm gonna go to the comic book shop. Like, let's go back in time. Can you? Okay, so like, I guess the question is like, when you knew that you want to go look at comic books, I know you well enough to know that you probably went online and looked around to see what would be the best thing that you should try and buy. You probably didn't just walk blind into a comic book shop, or did you? I don't know. Did you walk into?
I knew.
Imagine you walked into BSI,
knowing what I wanted. I knew that's one of the places. Actually, Crescent City is the first place I walked in.
Really? Okay.
I walked in wanting. So this is before High Republic came out in Star Wars. And I was like, oh, there's a new Star Wars series that's completely untapped. And I'm like, yeah, let me go to Crescent City Comics and pick this issue up. I walk in not owning a single comic book. Right. So put that in perspective of when that came out and where we are today. Not only
your butt cheeks all sweaty when you walked in. You're like, oh my god, 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 oh my god.
No. I was like, hey, I would like this comic book, please. And they're like, haha, that's funny. That's been sold out. That's been sold out for months. And I'm like, whoa, hold on.
It doesn't come out for months. It doesn't come out for months though.
I'm like, wait, hold on. I was like, it just came out an hour ago. Y'all just been open. You're like, that's in people's pull list. I'm like, okay, this is way deeper than what I thought. And I never really went into too many comic shops, honestly, because I knew it was a rabbit hole that I would just plummet down.
And here you are. Look at you in the paper cave.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's so funny? Real quick, I sent my brother when I bought my first 4 or 5 trade paperbacks and my first 7 or 8 single issue comics, Star Wars. It was a gap this big on my shelf. I sent it to my little brother and I said, "Let's see where this goes in a year."
Oh my god, dude.
I knew it, dude. I knew how slippery of a fucking slope it was, and I lubed myself up in all the Vaseline. I was like, "Let's fucking go." Like let's just do this. So
you dove right into that comic butthole, huh?
I sure did. I went right into the void.
I lubed myself up with all the Vaseline, not just with Vaseline. You're like all the Vaseline.
All of it. So, and here's another thing. And again, just to retouch on this, anybody that's just getting it, I'm not saying don't buy what you love. I'm saying stop preaching it like you're gonna save somebody. And here's the thing, because if
he's talking to me.
That I'm looking for, like a guru.
Shit, Johnny,
And I like somebody's like, hey, I read this one thing by James Tynion, right? Mm-hmm. And I like this guy's artist, right? I wouldn't tell that guy, all right, cool, buy what you love, keep buying, just buy what you love. If I'm a new person in the hobby, I'm just keep buying James Tynion. I would give that person more information so they can expand on the knowledge of what's out there and then make their own informed decision. So I think, and it's also, like I said, it's the sentiment behind it, because it's really a sentiment that comes from stay the course. Don't get too deep into speculation. Don't worry about investing in comic books. Just stay true to the love of what's in your heart. Like that's why that phrase was birthed, because that phrase, let me ask you this, was that phrase around in 1970? Can you imagine two kids in a comic shop, one's looking at a Hulk 181. The other kid comes up behind him and is like, "Oh, you're a Hulk fan?" "No, I've never read a Hulk issue, but I heard that there's a really cool character that's going to be in this." Dude, don't worry about that spec stuff. If you don't like the Hulk, don't buy. Just buy what you love, man. Don't worry about this new character that was in that Foom 2 magazine. You know what I'm saying?
You should have said just buy last issue for half off, because that's where he really is at.
Yeah. Hey, you're right. Yeah. But that's kind of the point that I'm making. It's just you can't just say that to people. There's other phrases that you can say that are actually useful to people that make more sense than just buy what you love. Okay. I mean, that's just.
What do you, so listen, when I go to work every day and somebody's like, this doesn't work, and I say, what is your solution? So what do I tell people? Rather than say, hey, I don't want to tell you to buy what you love. I want to just tell you to.
You're going where? Where are you going?
Okay, so I mean, like, instead of saying buy what you love, so I walk up to the kid who's got the Hulk 181, and he's like, what do you tell him instead? Don't tell him buy what you love. Say like, hey man,
don't say a fucking thing. Buy whatever don't say a goddamn thing. Buy whatever you're buying and get the fuck out of there, or say,
so you own the store apparently. You're like, no. You get the fuck out of here.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think everybody would just do so much better with all of us being grown adults. Everybody would just do so much better if they just stayed in their lane, shut the fuck up, and let people buy whatever they want. I think it's simple.
Wow,
and I think people reading the superhero comic books are everybody, right? Everybody wants to have more purpose. I think it's like in our DNA to just want to do better, right? It's in our DNA to want to save somebody from the variant or from the spec book. And so we can't help the diarrhea of advice that comes out of our mouth that says, hey kid, put down that fucking 1 in 100 variant, read the fucking Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. This is iconic. I get that. Like, I get that mindset, but you kind of just got to buy your own shit and let people buy whatever they want to buy and figure it out themselves.
So you don't say anything. You just let people buy their shit and don't say anything.
Like, I mean, talk. I'm not saying like don't talk to anybody, but I'm saying like don't question anybody's buying methods, and don't like try to save somebody that doesn't need to be saved. Like everybody. Okay, here's an analogy. To me, buying what you love is like going to a gym, looking at a fat dude on a treadmill and saying,
oh, wow, okay.
Bro, you got to lose weight. You got to lose weight, dude. Why the fuck am I here? Like that, like, that's what I'm saying. Like at its very best, preaching to somebody saying, just buy what you love, right? Because it's a preach. It's like a thing that people just want to preach to each other. At its very best, it's redundant. And if you're a new collector, it's poor advice. If you're a seasoned collector, it's redundant. No shit, buy what you love. I've been doing this for fucking 10 years. I know why I'm here. I know what I like. I don't need to hear your advice. If I'm new to collecting, just buy what you love. Okay, well, what does that mean? Because I'm still figuring this out. And if I stick to buy what you love, I'm not going to end up funding the hobby for myself. Like, I'm just going to pour all of my money out of my wallet. And that's fine if you're cool with that. If you're financially cool with that, that's fine. It all depends on when your mindset is financially. If you want to just buy books and just have them sit there, that's fine.
I mean, that's what I have. I have books that are just sitting here. I have piles and piles of books they're not worth anything. Like I said, like a new car. I drive up the lot. They're immediately worth half the money, if not less. And but the thing is, like, we go back to the idea of like the trade paperbacks and things like that. Again, a friend of the chat, Jono, he collects trade paperbacks. I'm impatient. I want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on right now. And look, I make enough money that I can go ahead and buy these things. But once I have them, I don't know what to do with them. But I think that, again, like I said, I understand what you're saying with the it's just bad advice. I understand where you're coming from with it. But I mean, like, if somebody just walks up to it and says, like, I don't know what to get, you could just say, just say, hey, what do you? I would actually, if somebody said, like, I don't know what to get, let's go there. If somebody says, hey, Kevin, I don't know what to get, I'd be like, well, what do you kind of like? And they're like, I like people with capes, women with capes. And I'll be like, well, let me give you what I know. I mean, I can talk to you a little bit about it, but maybe you foster some sort of like appreciation with it. But I mean, look, I'm very guilty of saying buy what you love, because like in my mind's eye, when I used that statement before, I meant like the unbridled joy of what you're doing. I didn't, I wasn't trying to use it as a shackle for anything you should or shouldn't do. It was just kind of like, I'm very guilty of buying some ridiculous stuff. I've literally bought books that are like $8 or $9 from eBay, and I couldn't sell them for 25 cents someplace else. But I mean, the joy of getting it in my hand. So I think that I was kind of like, I collect what I love. But the joy that it brought me was better than, I don't know, anything else I could say. Like it when you get a new book that you've been questioning, not like a new comic book day book, because that's a different thing. But if you get a book that you've been looking for and you come across it, like right now, you're actually holding the Transformers G.I. Joe #1 with the Bumblebee book, where he gets killed. So look, I mean, it's nothing special about it. It's just something that I want. And
Sure.
I don't even care what kind of condition it is. I know the joy it's going to bring me. It's the whole addiction of wanting to collect moments,
Right.
you know, like the things happen, but that's nostalgia for me, you know.
Sure.
I collect it, and I love it.
But yes, but you were on track there, and you said you were doing a scenario where you met somebody in a comic shop, and you were about to, and they asked you, they're new to the hobby, and they asked you, hey, I don't know what to buy. You were about to give that person advice. I want to hear from where does that statement, just buy what you love, come to play in somebody who's new into the hobby? Like, because you made the right, what you were saying was 100% correct. It's like, okay, well, what do you like? You know, and then what it sounded like you were about to just say, okay, well, this person is like this. If you like this style of writing, go to this person, right? And you're going to recommend different artists and stuff like that, right?
But you're right. Like, let's just say, okay, let's just say like for baseball cards, again, let's just use that as a generic scenario.
Yeah.
You don't go into a baseball card convention or whatever they have, and then like, well, you know, I really like this card, and should I buy this card? And you're kind of like, I mean, do what you want. There's no wishy-washiness to it. I mean, like, okay, let's just say like a baseball player who's retired. Let's say Nolan Ryan. Okay. Pitcher, Hall of Famer, you can't go wrong, right? Yeah. You know, like the only variable you have is like, do I spend this money or not? His career has been written. Yeah. He's old now, so he's not going to cause any scenes in the social community where he like, you know, gets canceled or some shit like that. You know, so you're trading currency. You're trading your $100 for $100 worth of card. Yeah. You know, so it's even swap currency. But still, even in that scenario, I wouldn't walk and be like, hey, buy what you love. But you could definitely say, like, if somebody's like waffling back and forth and saying like, oh, I don't know if I should buy this or not. I mean, like, hey man, do you want it? Get it. You know, it's the exact same statement, just different verbiage.
So here's the thing. In that scenario, that whole analogy you just painted, it's okay to say that statement because they're giving you a specific scenario. Like, I want to get this. Like, man, I'm really on the fence about this. I would say, okay, do you love it? Or do you like whatever? Do you like it? Do you want it? Okay, well then if you're asking for my opinion, then get it. But I'm not going to go like, but the buy what you love sentiment is more, again, it's like an anthem nonetheless. It's like a preach that comes out when the topic of speculation, of hot 10 list, of variants and Comic-Con exclusives, it's like when that discussion is started, that's when people eventually comes across and like, yeah, the stupid book, you know, we don't even know the print count on it. These fucking fools are like, just buy what you love. Just buy what. It's like a blanketed statement that people are like throwing out that you can't even say that because the hobby is so diverse. You can't even pinpoint that. So I was looking at other shit that you could say that's literally better than that.
All right.
Let's see. How about this?
I knew you had one.
Collect your way.
Ooh, it's got a good ring to it. Hey,
doesn't it? Guess what? This is from go to YouTube. Two brothers. They commented on the video that I released last Sunday on this whole topic, and this is what he put in his comment. He said, "Our this has been our topic. Collect your way. Simple. It's not like it's just like it's vague and it needs to be vague. If you're gonna send a message to the comic community, it needs to be vague as fuck because it's so diverse on how people collect. You can't even pinpoint. Some people might just get off on picking up hot 10 books. You don't know. So if you're preaching out, buy
no
what
continuity,
you love,
they're just buying top 10 books. It's always randomly just buying.
Dude, we don't know. Who knows? Maybe so.
If you like to do it.
Or what not variants, right? Or whatever. Woo. What I'm saying is it's such a diverse community that just preaching out buy what you love is doing really no good. Because again, I don't want to keep repeating myself. That saying came about because people were investing in books. People were speculating on books. People were buying more variants. This was not a saying in the 1970s. It was not a saying in the 1980s. Since the hobby has evolved, this has become an anthem, and I think it's fucking stupid. I really do.
I think that we're like, okay, so we have to kind of like almost say there's like pre-21 and post-21. You know, like 2021. I mean, like, okay, because like the problem is because it was so popular, it dragged me back into it. You know, like I only became aware of comic again because you got caught up in it, and then like I saw you, and then we became friends. But I don't know beforehand how it was. I was just kind of like I read books. I read trade paper books and omnibuses. I would get them every now and then, and I would read them like, this is cool. I never thought about collecting them.
Right.
I think that my beautiful wife got me this one Daredevil comic book a couple of years ago, like 2016. This one thing I really liked a lot that happened in Daredevil. She got it. I didn't think about it. It's just sitting in a box in place. Actually, I still don't have it in a box where it belongs. But you know, and she got it because it's a moment that I liked. But I think that if I could go back to 2020, and literally, there's people who have made Johnny, there's people who have made so much money since 2021 on all this bizarre shit that's come out. I mean, like there's literally somebody that I follow on Instagram who I know 2 years ago couldn't afford a new vehicle, and I swear to God, I saw him driving around in like a super nice vehicle recently, and I was like, wow, this guy's made a ton of money off of comic books in the last 2 years, and I can't hate on him for it. Like I said, I wonder if part of it's jealousy. I mean, maybe I wish I wish I had done that. It's like the same person who invented those fucking fidget spinners. I wish I had thought about something as stupid as that. I'd be fucking rich right now too. You know, like
right, sure.
So I mean,
no, but I think that's part of when you're in a hobby that's anything collectible. Like I don't want you to feel like that's it's a negative thing. Like I think it's a very natural thing. Like, okay, I'll tell you this: there's certain collectors, right, that I see on Instagram and on YouTube, and there's certain collectors that I have to turn off because they make me not like the hobby for a second. You know, they like I'm just like, oh fuck you, dude. Like I'm just like I can't watch you right now. Like the way
I wish it was there for a raging session of you. I wish it was there with like front seats and some alcohol, and then watch you get mad at somebody like like you turn it off. You turn it off, like walk away, come back and turn it back on and watch it and get angry again, or what happens over there?
It never gets to that point. But there's a certain like I just think it's like part of everybody's DNA that you're in a collectible hobby, and you know you see other things that people have. And I think it's just natural, just human instinct. Like you kind of want it. Jealousy is just natural, man. It's going to come with everything. But just, you know, but unfortunately, I feel like it's just created a divide of, I don't think that jealousy 100% has created a divide, but there's definitely a divide in the collectors. Okay. I want to throw this at you. Have you ever heard a speculator, a flipper? Picture the most flippiest flipper, comic flipper that you can hot 10 buy, motherfucker.
Okay.
Have you ever heard a speculator? Okay. Have you ever heard? It's me. Have you ever heard a speculator? Okay. Have you ever heard a speculator preaching to somebody who just reads comic books and saying, "Hey, stop buying single issues, buy trade paperbacks"?
No, of course not. Of course not. You know,
the flippers, the investors, the cover collectors, right? And I'm none of those. I mean, I am to a sense, but I'm not 100% any of those. But those people don't say a goddamn thing to anybody. And I think that's my biggest gripe. It's like you have one side of the hobby that's quietly enjoying the hobby, right? And doesn't preach to anybody else. But then you've got another side of the hobby that just wants to try to save everybody and is shouting out this unwanted opinion. So like the flippers don't say buy trade paperbacks because the sentiment of buy what you love is like, hey man, I'm trying to help you out. Okay, quit buying single issues. Wait for the trade paperback. It's going to save you hundreds of dollars.
It doesn't sound very sexy at all. You know,
it doesn't sound. It's a little more long-winded, but it's the same mindset. It's like you're trying to like save the other part of the hobby from wasting their money, from having a bad time.
God, I mean, it's there's a lot to think about with that because like, I mean, the people who are flipping books aren't going to say that because they want you to buy their books. They don't want you to buy trade paperbacks. But I think that there's like, it's almost like you're trying to polarize the idea of saying like, okay, I should walk into my LCS, collect my books. There's a part of the community that wants you to talk about it. Again, like that's what I'm mostly here for, is to talk about books and stories and things like that. And to let everybody know that I finally did pick up the very last copy of the Hellfire Gala at our local
Is that Scotty Young?
I don't think so. No, it's not. But I've had my comic book reader friends like sit there yelling, not a jab at you, but people who actually read comic books.
Right. Yeah.
They've been making fun of me because I don't have the Hellfire. What? Are you?
Yeah.
Was this
I'm
2
up to
weeks
the
in a row?
Right after the Viltrumite War.
What? You're like way into it then. Or how far are you into it?
Yeah. I just finished the Marvel team up where it cuts back to like at one point while Angstrom Levy like sent him through all the portals and like he comes out and all of a sudden he's got Spider-Man's web on his back and you're like, what the fuck? Why is Spider-Man? Marvel team up explains what happened there. So
you gave me that book.
Viltrumite War just ended. Which one? Marvel team up?
Real quick, so we don't get sidetracked.
Why did you that book?
You gave me one book that has Spider-Man and Invincible on the cover. Yes.
I gave it to you. Fuck. Dude. Okay, hold on. So with this new collection, so that book recently, right, just went up in value because Spider-Man's, I think he's rumored to be.
You didn't give me this recently. You gave it to me like a year ago.
Oh, did I?
You gave it to me a long time ago. Yeah, you gave it to a long time ago.
I was like, dude, I was like, I have that book in a collection somewhere. And I thought it was the most recent one. And I was like searching. I was like, I know it's here somewhere. I gave it to you. Nice. Well, no, I'm happy about that. Take it.
Are you jealous? Fuck you. Collect what you love, bitch.
No, I'm not jealous. I'm happy if anybody has it, it's you. I'm happy it's just not sitting in some bin that I can't get to. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's right over here someplace.
Nice.
It's funny because but okay. So, God damn it, man, the ADHD. What were we just talking about before you like? Why'd you say that? Now I'm gonna go. God, no, I was going somewhere with it. Somebody help me out. So like, I guess as you're reading books and things like that. I mean, like it's one of those things where I don't know how to like stretch out. Like, okay, I'm gonna try something next week. And Jeremy, if you're still in the room, like I'm gonna go to my comic book shop. I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna say my name. I'm gonna get my books. I'm gonna pay. And I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna speak to no one, but share no opinions.
No, but that's not. That's not. That is. Hold on. First of all,
there's something actually
saying. Me hating the buy what you love statement. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. Now, stay right where you are. Don't forget it. I also want to let you know when I first walked into the local comic book shop, just because he's in the room, Sparks was there. Okay, and I'm thinking about what I should collect and read. And Arthur Adams had just done a cover for Amazing Spider-Man. And I was like, at the time, I didn't know that Arthur Adams just like was putting pen to paper on a bunch of things. I was like, holy shit, he drew this cover. And Sparks is like, yeah, I'm reading this right now. And I was like, all right, well, you know what? This guy knows what he's talking about. I said, full list, Amazing Spider-Man. I wasn't even a big Spider-Man fan, but I was like, I need to start someplace, you know? And I put it on. Yeah. And I remember getting the entire run and reading it and then running into Sparks like 3 months later. And I'm like, hey, man, what did you think of the series? And he goes, I stopped reading that like months ago. he put me on the path and then told me he stopped reading it. Yeah. I was like, and this guy here.
Hey, that's the nature of the hobby, right? That's the nature of the hobby.
I thought it was just funny. He's like, oh, I haven't been reading that at all.
Yeah, that's funny.
Ooh, discussions on Art Adams. So hold on. Let's real quick because we're jumping all over the place as we should. Hit the chat up because the chat's saying some really good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab another beer. Grab it. I'll be right back.
Okay. Grab me one.
Let's grab a beer too. Yeah.
I'm gonna get one after you get back, but I'll go to the chat real quick. Okay. Ooh, holy shit. Sorry for the neglect. The Furred Bird. Find out what you love. Okay. Spark says, find out what you love. Find out if you love that new character. Yes, you're right. That is a thing that you can do. It's part of the hobby. Taking shots on characters and runs and things like that. If your wallet's ready for it. The Champions teams are some of my favorite Marvel characters, and they're all new. If I skipped over these characters, I'd be missing out. Fair enough. Let's see. Man, the Hobgoblin Collector. I am not a fan of the flipping dealer FOMO focus of the hobby, but I understand it and just keep scrolling. I don't hate. I just partake. Beautiful, man. That's it. That's it. That's all anybody like. Just respect the other side of the fence, you know? That's it. That's all you got to do. I just want to save people from my own mistakes, but also that's up to them to figure out. Correct. Absolutely. It is, because there's no way somebody else is going to have the same mistakes as you, because you're two different minds, two different tastes. Everyone's stressed. Jono. I don't think I would say buy what you love to anyone. I would ask them what they have read and what type of books they are drawn to, and just talk to them about different books. Writers and artists, absolutely. That's more productive, and that's exactly. Let's see. Promise Comics, Sparks, definitely. Okay. Yes, he's replying to Jono. I'm just trying to weed out all this stuff. I need some discussions on Art Adams. Hey, I only put there.
I'll talk about Art Adams.
Yeah, if you want to ramble on Art Adams while I go get a beer, feel free.
Get a beer. Yeah. So look, Art Adams.
You've got 2 minutes for Art Adams.
2 minutes? I didn't take that long. Well, then he gets off completely. This guy right here. I was just about to say that he's so good at anchoring the show when I walk off, and I'm terrible at it when he takes off. But no. So Art Adams, man. Yeah. Look. One of the preeminent artists of my early childhood for sure. Art Adams. But yeah, I don't know what the hell happened, dude. He was so good. Yeah. What's up, Jimmy? Hey, just so you know. Whoop. But Art Adams was so good, man. And when I started collecting again, the art just wasn't the same. And maybe we could talk about it, but I think that the whole idea of the digital stuff that people can draw with now is kind of fucked it up. When I was a kid, I really wanted to ink comic books. I thought that would be like the coolest fucking job, because my job wouldn't be on the line all the time with deadlines of having to draw books. I could actually like ink them. I thought inking would have been like the coolest fucking job in comic books. It wasn't like coloring it, which at the time was like super sloppy and lazy. But I don't even know if people ink comic books anymore. I just with the digital stuff, I don't think that you have to ink it anymore. I think that quite possibly they just take the digital drawings and just color them and go. But yeah, so like with this right here, I mean, he's hit or miss for me right now. Look, 100%, dude, 100%. I mean, there's a lot of artists out there that, I mean, like John Romita Jr. I mean, we've talked about him before as well. I mean, I think that these guys are great artists and great everything as far as quality. But like, I think with the digital age, it allows them to kind of cash it in. If we look back at our time growing up, and I was born in like 1979, the artists we had, Mark Silvestri was one of the big comic book artists for me. Because he drew X-Men. You have Art Adams. You got Todd McFarlane, John Byrne. You had Alan Davis and people like that. I'd like to see a lot of their art now and see how it is compared to then. And I just think that the quality has dropped off. I just really do,
You're like Frank Miller?
Stop it. It's all just about the inking with Frank Miller. Hold on.
That was the funniest comment. That still remains the funniest comment ever on any podcast. The Frank Miller art compared to the
there it is. I got it.
You got it. Oh, you got it. Nice. That compared to Wolverine #1 from 1982.
So dude.
It's a different inker. That's why the art's not as good. That's the greatest comment ever. That's beautiful.
It's just a different, but look, some of that part is true because, like, listen, you look at if we want to talk about art for a second, when you look at Invincible right now, you're looking at Ryan Ottley's drawing. Ryan Ottley's drawing and the coloring in Invincible in the books that you have is fucking amazing. Like I think the art it's great. It's just enough cartoony, it's just enough serious. And then you step back and you look at some Ryan Ottley stuff that he's done later on. It's not the same art. It's not the same like ink and coloring. It's different. It's still his art style. It's just not like the 100% kick you in the balls amazingness that Invincible actually is with their art. It's so there is a team of people, and then you got lettering and things like that. We're gonna have Leo lettering on at some point in the future. He's doing a bunch of lettering for some books, but there's so many things that go into making a good book. And look, I mean, when I was growing up, there's a lot of books that were just like really shitty. I mean, imagine walking into a comic book store and buying a book without reading it, taking it home, and it's just a filler book. That's fucking lame, Oh my god! And you gotta wait a month.
Yeah. Hey man, yeah. Unfortunately, it's part of the hobby, right? For anybody that collects that way. And I know Jeremy and you and like I said, myself for the first year, definitely experienced a lot of that. But then I realized I found where my love for the hobby really exists, and it's just in a different place. It's but I still love to read. Like I said, been trying to blast through Invincible and really, what else? I don't know, Hush, Batman Year One, just kind of like the iconic stuff, because I'm playing catch up. Like a lot of these iconic storylines, I'm just like, all right, where's the goods at? Chris Claremont X-Men, like all that stuff. I'm just trying to like get into all that first, which is a lot of fun.
Can we Can we? I want to diverge for a second here. Can we go the split screen real quick here? I want you to hold your spot on all this, but now that we got ourselves into a labyrinth here, just go two screens. Like just get you and I on the screen only.
Hold on. What is this?
Okay. There you go. Okay, cool. Johnny, I'm going to look you in the eye. I'm going to look everybody in the eye right now, and I want to talk about something. I want to talk about Superman for a second. I really, John, if you're out there, here it is. This is it right here. I want to figure out Superman. I've been reading a lot about Superman lately, and been reading a lot of Superman lately, and I just can't understand why this guy is not like just around the entire planet like the most popular hero, superhero, anything of all time, you know? And I think the answer is because he's morally a good guy, and we can't stand the fact that he's such a good guy. And so like, we don't care about him, you know, like we only like Superman when he's getting fucked up, killed, depressed, or anything like that. Like, it's so crazy that he's like supposed to be like the American superhero, and we only like reading about him when he's having a hard time. And the other thing is like, there's nothing this guy can't do, and yet he's boring as fuck. He is boring as fuck on all his most timeline books that I've read. You know, like the supporting cast around him makes him cool, not him. And it's crazy. Superman should be like the most entertaining person ever out there, and he just really isn't. And it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind right now, and I just can't understand why isn't he more popular? He just really isn't. I don't think. Well, you know,
I think it's because he is too perfect, right? He's too much of everything. He's too great. People need to work. The other day, when was it? Oh, when we were talking about Secret Invasion. Regardless what the reviews say, the first like 2 episodes we were chatting on here about it, and I thought you brought up a really good point. You said if it made my brain work, right? It wasn't just mindless, like, you know, here's your, you know, on a silver platter storytelling. My brain had to work for it, and there's something to that. Like with Superman just being, he's just, you know, he's great. He has his trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, he's fucking Superman.
He's always going to be okay. He's always going to be. And
this is 1993.
Yeah, but I mean, like, still, like, that was like such a weird thing.
They rose him like 6 months later or something like that.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, but that was such a big deal, and that was like the first comic book industry burn. It worked completely because like everybody tore it all down. Everybody was sad. He was on Time magazine. He was on a bunch of things, and they're like, all of a sudden, here it comes. Here comes like variant Superman, not variant covers, but variant Supermans out there. Just to kind of, which one do you like the most? And then we're going to go that way. And I don't know if Jason Todd was killed first with Batman before Superman died. I don't know which one came first. I think Batman dying first. I don't, I'm sorry. Robin died first. And I don't know. Chat, please help.
I think so. But, that was in the 80s. That was in 84. Robin, Jason Todd.
Is it 84 he died? Really? Okay.
I think so, yeah. I think it was 84 or 88, one of the two. My Rain Man brain ain't right.
I think that DC does an interesting story trying to humanize Superman and make him feel like the pull of like the small town to like the big city metropolis and things like that. But I just feel like there's so much he can do. It's got to be overwhelming for like a writer over at DC, be like, hey, we're going to give you the new Superman title. And rather than tackle Superman and make Superman interesting, he has kids. He has a cat. He has a dog, a super dog. He has a super sister. He has a super daughter. But not Superman. Like they're going around Superman and making all these other people, son of Kal-El, all these things. They have like Lex Luthor stories, but they're not getting down in the middle of Superman and being like, what can we do? What can we do? They're not really diving into Superman. And it's just weird. And I was wondering why. And I really thought about it. And I was like, dude, it's because he's a good guy. And no one likes a fucking good guy. And that's the saddest shit ever. You know, like, he's got to be a bummer to write over at DC because they have to have that dumb S on his chest. They can't take it away. It has to be there. Well,
but here's the thing.
You
got James Gunn, which I don't like where he's so far I'm unhappy with the news that's come out of him keeping like 65-70% of the old DC and then rebooting it. I don't like that. But so out of context now. I never said buy what you love. It's like
jerk.
But he I think he's the right type of weird to take on Superman, because he's going to bring back the old school take, right? Because I think that is what was missing from Henry Cavill Superman, was that American, what do they call it? The American truth, justice, and the American way. That's what Superman's like motto is. Not buy what you love.
The first scene for the new movie should be this. It pans in and like you see Lois Lane like walking around in the kitchen, okay? And then like the camera follows you to like Lois and Clark's bedroom, and then it shows her like pushing the bathroom door open, and he's like rubbing one out right in front of the toilet. And she's like, "What are you doing?" And then he's like, "Oh, you caught me." His alarm goes off and he has to go. That's how the new Superman movie should start. There way we have like no like premonitions of what he's gonna be. He's like a scumbag like all of us, and people will care. You know, like he's Superman's just like us. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's how it should go.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I'm very interested in James Gunn take on that. I just think it's good. It takes a special kind of writer to really make him likable this day and age, because he's very much a victim of his time. And you're right, like a lot of the stories that he's in that are successful, like I feel like a lot of it is due to the stimulants, not really him as a character. It's due to what's going on, you know, or who's fucking with him or whatever. But we'll see. Leap Slayer, I didn't get a chance to tell you hello. Hey, buddy. Long time no see. I'm glad to see you.
So you're saying that James Gunn can go ahead and fix Superman and like maybe make him better? I mean, it's just so weird that he should be somebody that we're all like really like in Marvel you like Wolverine. I mean, like everybody likes Wolverine, you know, and like they do a bunch of things with him. I guess, you know what? Hey, check it out. Marvel's version of Superman would be Captain America, correct? And yet I find Captain
Marvel's
America
version of yeah, it'd be close.
I find Captain America more compelling, you know, and look, I don't read Captain America books. I just can't stand them because maybe he's not corruptible, and that's why I don't read him. Because, I don't know.
Well, Cap still has limitations though. Like he's just as much of a Boy Scout, but he has physical limitations. Like in the back of your head, if Superman wanted to just annihilate everybody, it's the same thing with like, you know, Omni-Man, right? And his whole thing.
My God.
Is like in Homelander from The Boys, like in the back of your head, that's their biggest problem. If they wanted to completely just end everything, dude. Oh, you know what's amazing?
That's why you're into them. That's why you're into them. You know, you're not into Superman. What? You're into Omni-Man because Omni-Man can fuck you up, and he will do that. You know, like you kind of like you want to know what Omni-Man's doing. And so you cheer for Omni-Man to like get annihilated somehow, somewhere, and then you would also cheer for like a redemption. Hey, a la Negan from The Walking Dead. I don't know if you watch Walking Dead, but you wanted to. There's a character named Negan who you wanted to hate so much.
Yeah,
and then at the end, he's like a good guy.
Bat? Yep, the Bat.
Yeah,
the bit that busts everybody's brains open.
Yeah, absolutely. And you wanted to hate him so much. And then all of a sudden, like later on, he's like one of the good guys, the redemption story. And then, you know, I mean, I know that Superman's had his time where he's been a bad guy, but it's like, it's just weird. It's like almost like there's a flaw when he was created. When he was created when America needed him in the 50s, that kind of thing. But now, like, he 30s. Is the flagship. 30s. He is the flagship superhero for DC. And I just don't think they know what to do with him. What do we do with Superman?
And
he wears red tux.
Right. Right. And that's the thing too. Like he was very, you know, when Superman, I touched a little bit on this, not really much in Sunday's YouTube video, but this upcoming Sunday. But yeah, when he was created, there wasn't a whole lot of superheroes before him. So I think once like Joe Shuster and Jerry Siegel was like, hey, we're going to create this character. It's almost like you figure out what you can do, what the limits are, like, or what the sky's the limit, right? And hold on one second. And instead of thinking like what might come after this, you just do it all at once. And I think that's what they did with Superman. Like, oh wait, a super person can be a thing. Well, then we're just gonna make him super as fuck, and we're not gonna think about any superhero that comes after that or anything like that. So they just gave him all of the power, all of the abilities, because, you know, he was kind of like one of the first of his kind. And I think they just kind of like, for lack of a better term, blew their load in their first creation.
Like the first scene the new Superman movie should have. It should, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I think
it just hasn't aged well.
it's weird because, like I said, there's been variations on it where he has. Okay, so like they've kind of retconned some of his power stuff, and like, so he draws power from the sun. There's a really cool scene in that Flash movie that we saw together, where what's her name? The female super person, Cal. What's her name?
Kara Zor-El.
Kara Zor-El. She is in like some sphere, and they take her outside and they throw her on the ground. And they throw her on the ground. They show this part where her hand is like reaching up on something. And as they show her hand reaching up, her hand gets fatter. Like it physically gets thicker. Her arm gets thicker immediately. I was like, that's cool. That's cool to acknowledge the fact that they gain power from the sun, And in Dark Knight Returns, because everybody has to reference it, like when he is dying in this book here, he's trying to fly to the sun, but he gets knocked out by atomic lightning that hits him. Like he gets killed for that. He's just trying to float to the sun to be made whole again, and he can't. But it's almost like I wish I could go to DC and drink a lot of beers with the people there and be like, hey, let's do this with Superman. Let's not recreate him. Let's not tell his story again. Let's just figure out like something inside him that is like, a flaw that we can expound upon that doesn't make him like a bad guy as well. I mean, just like you said, I mean, like they gave him everything all at once. There's nothing to grow with. He is the most mighty superhero ever. And no matter what, you can't kill him. You can't get away from him. It's weird, this whole kryptonite thing and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to talk about it for a second because it confuses me because he clearly is like the most powerful person out there, but yet no one cares about him,
Yeah, I was just going to say, Leaf Slayer took the words right out of my mouth. Bizarro. Bizarro is, I mean, he is the antithesis, right?
Is he cool?
Of Superman. No. Maybe. He's a little more dead looking. So in my world, yeah, he's cool.
See? That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to read about Bizarro. I don't care about Superman. I don't want to hear about Superman. I want to hear about Bizarro, like that sounds cool to me.
Hey, I've got the first appearance of Bizarro Batman. I think it's an Action Comics book. I think it's Bizarro Batman.
What is that Batman? He's like pink. He's a pink Batman. He's got like a name too. The Batman, when he dresses in like the pink outfit, is a name for him. It's recently popped up in the Batman series. It's really good. Like Batman has to like hide from himself, so he like created this alternate identity of him, but is making fun of this comic book from the 70s or 60s where he wore a pink outfit. God, it's so good. Chip Zdarsky's writing Batman right now, and it's very, very good. I would recommend reading that if you read comic books, Johnny. Anyway, man. Back to the collect what you love. Come on, let's go. What you got?
I mean, okay. Well, I mean, do we have anything else to expand upon? I mean, chat. What I feel like I wish there was. I just wish there was more attendance because if you go to the comment section of that video,
thank you for being here.
I love you all, but if you go to the comment section of that video, there's a ton of perspective on this subject. A majority of it feels the same way. And the people that disagree with it have so little or none. I haven't heard an argument yet that states why somebody should just blatantly go out and just tell people to buy what you love. Like it's some sort of fucking magical Band-Aid. Like nobody has said anything yet convincing to me in any scenario. Here's the only scenario where, for the other side's argument's sake, that I'll make for them, if you have to preach that, buy what you love, is to maybe keep somebody on track. It's almost like, Kev, we're both musicians, right? You're more so than I am because you've actually went on tour. If you're playing night after night after night after night, right? And it's part of your job. And there's a part of you that loves the business side of it. There's a part of you that loves being on stage. And it's the only type of buy what you love that would work is if you go to somebody who's experienced and say, hey, don't forget to buy what you love also. Like, don't forget to listen to the music. Don't forget to create don't forget to enjoy your art that you created. And I know this is the 50th time you've played it out on stage, but don't forget to just fucking appreciate where you're at and love what you're doing. Like, that's the only argument that saying can be made. And it takes more than just saying buy what you love, right? There's more to it. It's saying, hey, I know you do this, and this, but don't forget to like pick up a book every now and then and just lose yourself in the story. And that's
that just sounds
still different about it, but it's a longer statement. It's more winded and it's not as clean sounding.
I mean, it just sounds patronizing when you're saying it, but if somebody were to say that to me, I'd be like,
yeah,
fuck you. You're like, you don't know.
What do you think I'm doing here on the treadmill?
Because I'm totally I go do shows just because I don't love what I do. What do you mean I'm just collecting a check?
Right.
So books, I mean, like somebody came up and tapped me and like, hey man, don't forget to enjoy those books you're buying. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
That's like, what it sounds like when people say it. That's what it sounds like.
I don't know. And again, like I know where you're coming from with it, but I don't feel like and then I you know what the saying that I used was collect what you love. I didn't say buy what you love. And I realize it now. So now that I'm completely exonerating myself from all the guilt I felt. It's the same thing essentially. But it's one step further.
But why can't you collect what you might sell later?
Because you have to buy it, motherfucker. You have to buy it, don't you? Oh, wait, hold on.
You do, but I'm saying collect is to like to keep it. Like to collect is to keep.
Yeah.
So why can't you keep something that you feel is an investment?
Well, you can, but it's an investment if you're keeping it. If you're keeping it, it's not an okay, hold on. This is something and this is something interesting you always do. Like when you get a collection and you go through it and you're kind of like, this is awesome, and then you get it slabbed and you're going like, this is going in the PC. I'm like, that's the one you should sell. But that's just me thinking like in a business mind. But then you and I so months pass and you're like, I'm never going to get rid of this. It's in the PC. And then months pass and you and I talk on the phone, even this week. And you're kind of like, look, my likes have changed. So something that was in the PC, I'm now going to sell that motherfucker. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to sell it, and things like that. So it's like, I mean, it could all be an investment or it could all be like it's all an investment, obviously, if you buy it. But it's like, if you're going to keep it, is it an investment still? I mean, I don't know. It's sort of like you don't want to say like you can buy happiness, but in a way that it kind of is. I mean, like there's books I'm never going to get rid of. They're not really an investment. They're literally a waste of money because in the literal sense, I'm never getting that money back. I just used it. But if I get enjoyment from it, I'm justifying it by saying it's not a waste, but in theory, it still is. I mean, I've encapsulated a piece of paper. Like, look at me, like,
right.
So, like, so collect what you love, I guess. I don't know if it brings you happiness. Do it. That's what I always meant.
Sure. Yeah. And I know that's a lot. I know that's what a lot of people think. I know that's probably what a lot of people mean. But again, like I said, I don't want to keep beating the dead horse. A lot of times the whole phrase comes up, the topic comes up because it's in the conversation of other parts of the hobby. And they're trying to get somebody to stay the course. And they're trying to say, hey, don't give in to that shit. Buy what you love. Like, that's what I hear. When I hear, dude, just buy what you love. I also hear, don't give into that shit. Don't give into the FOMO.
When you say it like that, it actually sounds like it would be, okay, so like, if I was trying to, okay, scenario, not you. If I accidentally got tricked into buying one of these Comic-Con exclusives, that we all knew, not the ones that are cool, but like ones that are like, like a dumb one. And then you have you bought 20 of these and now you have to flip it. Let's just say it's got like an acetate cover, and you need to get rid of it. And then you're like, you're on your show and people are like, I don't know, the price is kind of weird. You kind of go, hey man, buy what you love. If you love it, buy it, like buy what you love. I mean, it sounds like a kind of like a sneaky way, like a salesmanship kind of thing. I mean, like it can be thought of like that in a way, I guess, if you're saying it, but if somebody's
in that scenario, it does sound like that.
Yeah, well, I heavily painted it that way, but I feel that I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you want to be creepy about it, you can say like, I just don't see how it's hurtful to say buy what you love. I see what you're saying, but I don't see how it's ultimately hurtful to say it. Like,
well, it's either like, well, I guess I think if you're to take it and direct it towards two different people, well, it's really, again, it's hard to generalize a sentiment when this phrase is said by different people for over different reasons, right? All throughout comics and all that shit. But if you were to just like generalize and say, you're saying it to a new collector, you're saying it to an experienced collector, and you're saying it to somebody who is you're witnessing them doing something that you might think hurt their wallet, because that is also very much a time and a place where people throw this term out there. So why is my computer keep going to sleep? So
I think yeah, good.
Well, I'm just saying. So if you're saying it to a new collector and you say buy what you love, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck does that mean? I don't know. Help me out." like tell me, like Jono said, like have a conversation with somebody and say, "Okay, what kind of artists do you like? What kind of stories do you like?" And then direct them in a place that they might find something that they love. Or you're gonna say it to a seasoned collector, "Hey, buy what you love." Why do you think I'm here? Why do you think
I wouldn't
into
say it to a seasoned collector? I would say to somebody who's kind of like grasping at straws. You know, like it's kind of like when I go to the gym and somebody's like, "Hey, you want me to spot you?" I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, bro!" Like, if I need a spot, I'd be like, "Hey, can you spot me?" You know, like I don't need your help.
That's a great that's a great analogy. But that's it. Like exactly. That's the same thing. Like I said earlier, it's like going to a guy on a treadmill, a heavy set person, and saying, "Hey, man, you gotta lose some weight, motherfucker. I know. I'm here." Like. What do you think I'm doing here? So if it doesn't do any good, if it's directed towards a new collector because they don't know what they love yet, and it doesn't do any good to an experienced collector because, well, obviously they've been in the hobby for a while and they know what they love, and just because they're buying things that they don't love doesn't mean that they're not buying things that they do love. Then what the fuck are you saying this phrase at? It feels like it's a way of preaching.
What if you walk to somebody and you're like, "Hey, click what you love or buy what you love," and you walk off and they like look at the book in their hand, they're like, "I don't love any of this anymore." Like, what am I even doing? Maybe you've saved them. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe. But it's one of those things where I wouldn't go up to somebody who but then again, how do you like know? I mean, I guess you can, like, if you know who's like a seasoned comic book collector. Like, I wonder if I look like a seasoned comic book collector. I feel like if I walk into Crescent City, I look like a seasoned comic book collector. I know the people, but if I walk into any of the other local comic book shops, I would not look like a seasoned collector. I'd be like, what am I doing here? You know,
collector look like?
That's what I was thinking. I don't know. The fact that I can walk into Crescent City and be like, "Hey, y'all, what's up?" That means I've been there. You know, I mean, like, I'm not just like that gregarious. I'm like walking in, fucking, yo, what's up, people I've never met before. I mean, but I do get like nervous when you and I have gone to Comic Cons before. I walk in because like I know that I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, I'm a small fish in a small pond here. But when you broaden everything, then I don't know things, and I get kind of squeamish and weird, and I get nervous, and like I'm kind of like I'm not gregarious, and maybe somebody would come up to me and say, "Hey, man," you put their arm around me and be like, "Hey, like." You look a little shy. What are you here for? I'm like, I'm looking for some books. And they're like, "Hey, collect what you love, man." And then walk off.
Exactly. And I would say exactly right there in that scenario. Hey, collect what you love. I'd be like, all right, well, thanks. Like that. Like, I mean, that sounds like a me problem, not a you problem. Like, of course, like I'm trying to figure that out. Like, obviously, okay. So in that scenario, you're like, I don't know if you're at a con, you're like, I don't know what to get. Right. And somebody says, collect what you love, just collect what you love. I mean, isn't that obvious? I don't know. Isn't that obvious?
I'm out of here, man. Fuck it all. Let me go collect some Pogs or some Magic cards.
Yeah, you go home, you look at your wife, you're like, I don't even think I love you anymore. You tell your wife, like, I don't even know if I love you anymore.
This self-reflection just starts to really develop, and you go to your job. It's like Office Space. You're just like, I don't care. I don't love you, wife. I don't love you, kids. You kick the dog.
Let me try to. You've been frozen for a minute now. Unless really? You're the greatest ventriloquist in the world.
I've been talking the entire time.
Isn't that bad? Hold on.
Still frozen?
No. Ghostly. Now you're a ghost.
It's your internet,
baby. Face?
No, don't look.
No,
don't
it can't be, huh? Oh, no, okay, you're good. You're good. Looks good to me.
Go.
Okay, cool.
Now you're frozen.
We're good. I see you. I see you now. I see you.
Cool. I see you, boo.
Let's see. And so, okay, just to kind of further elaborate. So at the end of the video, I started giving off things that's like more useful to somebody that would be new entering the hobby. And I really do think learning more about the hobby Yes, his baby face.
Yeah.
I really do think learning more about the hobby is, again, it's not trying to save anybody, because it all depends on where your mindset is financially entering this hobby. If you come into this hobby and you've got money to burn, take all the chances you want, do everything that you want. But if you're somebody coming in, you're like, okay, I want to know, how can I enjoy this hobby with the least amount of buyer's remorse, the least amount of money wasted, and such. My advice to you would be, learn more about the hobby. Like, learn about the different eras, learn about the different writers, learn about the different artists, and only that way, learning about the hobby, you're going to figure out what you enjoy the most when you put your wallet down on the table. Because once I realized I can combine my two loves of horror and comics and collecting and like rarity and all this other stuff, I really found what the heart of my collection is. And I didn't realize that until over a year after buying new comic book day shit. And I'm like, if I would have realized this, you got to go up some.
Okay, I was waiting until you finish first.
No. I mean, but I mean, I guess that's it. Like, if you're somebody who's new coming into the hobby, my best advice, which, if anybody even gives a shit about it, it's learn more about the hobby and multiple facets of the different eras, the different writers, the different artists, and through that, with the internet at our fingertips, you can learn a lot without spending a dime. Do all that.
Yeah, but
research.
Johnny, I don't want to read anything. I just want to collect cool looking covers, Johnny.
That's fine then.
What do you say to that
easy.
person?
Then you're lucky, because all you got to do is look at it.
Yeah, but I mean, then so. Again, like, okay, so listen, here we go. Check it out. I was going to show you this. I got this for $2 on eBay. I was very happy to get it. I got it for less than cover price. I think all in total, I got 2 books. It was like $8 for all shipment and things like that. Nothing special about it. It's a cool Spider-Woman cover,
That's cool. Yeah.
It's weird to me. It's a Peach Momoko cover, but it doesn't look like Peach Momoko. It's just a cool cover to me. It really does not. Yeah. I got that, and I got this X-Men Magic cover. And I see you, Jimmy. You got a cover I'm looking at. But but if somebody, okay, so I got this for $2. Okay. Brand new, it was like $4, probably something like that. $4.99. Wow, it's more than it should be. But if I saw somebody at a con buying this and somebody's like, oh, Peach Momoko, $15. And they don't read comic books. All right.
Yeah.
But somebody's like, oh God, Peach Momoko. I've heard her name. I really want this cover. $15. I'm standing right next to him, and the person selling the book can't hear me. Is it, I feel like it's my right. I feel like it's like something I should do, that it's my moral imperative to tap them on the shoulder and be like, it's a $2 book. But you are also saying that I should not do that.
No. Well, I'm saying, is it your right? 100% it's your right. Is it your moral imperative? That's up to you internally to decide. Does that person want to hear that from you? I don't know. Probably
but
not.
Don't you feel dirty? What happened is, if you, okay, let's make it you, let's make it me. If somebody bought this book right here, which is great, for $15, I would go back to you and be like, bro, somebody just bought this book that I got for $2 and it's worth brand new $5 for $15. Know, you'd be like, what? That's so stupid. Like, you would. I mean, just joking around, like two bros.
I would be like,
no, like, Mr. Moral High Road here. Okay.
No. Like, you just can't. It's just so subjective, man. You just really can't. It's just so subjective. I would say, shit, they probably should have looked maybe on eBay or elsewhere before they bought that. They might have been able to find a cheaper deal, but I wouldn't say they shouldn't have bought that cover.
It's weird. I mean, and I've never done that, and literally that would have happened. Yes, Jimmy, that one right there, Sword Surfing Magic. I would probably wouldn't say anything. I would feel bad about it though. But I mean, I don't have to feel bad about it, because people should be able to spend their money the way they want to spend it. And I get that part too.
Yeah.
I think that there's like it's a weird thing, because like, you want to support people in the community, but by also supporting people in the community, you're undercutting somebody else in the community, whether it be the comic book shop where you're kind of like, oh, hey, you can get this, you won't like this or this, you're cutting those people off. There's no way to really win. but then also like how nice it must be to the person who just goes to the comic book shop, buys their books, and leaves, and doesn't have to worry about any of the politics involved. It's, I mean, you and I are almost immune to this completely because we're not really a part of any of it. You know, we just talk about it. But I mean, I think that our moral code is what's coming up here. That we're both, in theory, good guys. We're just trying to like help people out, you know. But it's weird, you know. But if you're only a cover collector for art, you know. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I think what sparked the video was I felt like I heard enough times from people with that statement, with the intentions of like animosity, like I said, towards one side of the hobby, and I think that's what really drove like the aggravation. If it wasn't for the amount of times I heard that. Like, if it wasn't for animosity towards one side of the hobby, I would just be like, okay, it's kind of annoying. But now, like, after so many times hearing it, I'm just like, all right, now you're starting to piss me off because now you're just, you know, preaching. You're either preaching to the choir, preaching to who can't implement what your advice is, or you're just being a hater on one side of the hobby. Again, it's another side of the hobby doesn't preach to anybody about anything. And it just seems to be one-sided that's just like hates on the other side. You know?
Yeah. So like the other night I was looking at Whatnot, and just for fun, I was watching a guy selling Funkos. Okay. Now I don't know if you ever delved into Funkos and things like that. It's not something I'm into. I have exactly
actually
one.
I did. I used to collect them big time. I forgot about that one.
You forgot about that one. That was probably a pretty big money sink.
It was, dude. I had a shit ton of them. There's some I still have. There's some I regret selling. I wish I still had. But Funkos. I saw
the guy sell, and the guy in Whatnot was great. He was fine. He's like, I have this Ninja Turtle one. It's Leonardo. It's something. I'm looking at the picture right now. I'm not going to put it on the screen because I don't want to dime this guy out because he didn't do anything wrong. But I went online while this was happening because the price kept going up, and you could buy it now on eBay for $60. Okay, it was no problem. You could buy it. There was a plethora of them. The guy did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. He put it up. He goes, "This is the one that I have." It was on a little spinny thing. That's it. Okay, this thing sold for $629.
What?
God bless it. I'll show you offline. I'm not gonna do it online, but it sold for $629. It was a Funko that you could get online, no problem, for $60 all day. It sold for $629. The guy did nothing wrong. He just had it spinning. He goes, "This is what I have." He said it for a minute. It had 50 bids on it to get it to $629, and I was like, what is this?
Guess what? Guess what that person loves? To spend money.
But it was eking up there. But look, that's not the only thing. So also, this is something I also want to do, and I don't mind saying his name. So Rob Liefeld. Oh God, I have it, don't I? Let me tell me I have it still. Okay. Here we go. This is great. Again, I'm saying this because just whatever. I'm saying this because like this is interesting stuff. And you talk about the FOMO and what people should spend their money on. Rob Liefeld on his very last Whatnot stream, because he's probably going to eBay. He sold his very last thing that he sold on his Whatnot stream was a hardback book of like drawings. Like it wasn't his drawings. It weren't like personal drawings. It was like art and like other things. Like it was an omnibus. I'm sorry, right here. It was an omnibus and Deadpool book for whatever Marvel. And on the first page, he did a remark. Okay. And I can show you this. I will show you this in the camera because this is interesting. The very last thing that Rob Liefeld sold on Whatnot. Guess a price. Just guess a price.
On Whatnot? Very last thing he sold?
Very last thing he sold. Okay. It had 196 bids, and it sold for $4,115. Oh my God. It sold for $4,115 with the shipping of $25. Sorry, I wish I got that. I thought I'd held out, Jimmy, but $4,115 he sold that for, because it was the very last thing he sold in Whatnot. You know, you can get a signature for $50. He sold that last book with a remark for $4,115. So it's like, part of you goes like, yeah, do what you want with your money, but I screenshot that because I was like, it caught my attention so much. I'm like, this is crazy. This is nuts. Why would anybody? What are they doing?
Yeah.
There's no way that guy spent, unless he's like 100,000 air over and over, that he spent $4,000 on that and is like, woohoo! I finally nailed it. It's not a key. It's not anything. It's a hardback book you can buy at Barnes and Nobles that he remarked, and it's over $4,000. Get out of here.
And guess what? There's nothing that you could save that buyer. Like, there's nothing that you can say to that buyer that's going to save him from spending. You just got to let him spend their money. Like, that's it. Like,
not only that. So, like, interesting. Okay, cool. So, speaking because he's in the room, Jimmy from Loop Slayer, he runs a very good Buy It Now show on Whatnot. Probably one of the best. I'm not pimping him out. I'm just telling you the truth. And this is, but my truth, you know. He sells 90% modern books, and he sells them at a fair price. And he does not sell them at bids. He sells them at Buy It Nows. And he tells everybody, he's like, if you want this book, you can buy this book. I have more. He literally doesn't let people bid up on it. He doesn't want that to be the case. And I'm not saying if he's altruistic and completely honest, I'm sure he wants to make money. I'm sure he gets his whatever he's trying to do, but he doesn't let people bid on his stuff. That's incredible. Have you ever seen that, Johnny? Have you ever seen anybody who's like, don't bid on my stuff? This is the price. Buy it for this. Yeah, it's great. You know, he'll cut you deals and bundles and things like that. But that's not. I mean, like, he is a 1 in a million gentleman's gem right there. You know, like that doesn't happen out there. But it's one of those things where Rob Liefeld just like kept like, and why would he want to sell it for less? You know, like, of course Rob Liefeld wants more and more and more and more money. You know, I mean, of course you want that kind of, but I mean, it's crazy to me what people will buy. And so therefore I feel like a little bit guilty when I see somebody in front of me buying a book that I got for $2 and trying to buy it for $15. You know, it's just kind of like, you almost want to just tap on the shoulder and say like, hey man, like, but you're right. It's not my right to do that,
dude.
It's not my right.
You know what's crazy? One of the most asinine fucking comments that was on not even the YouTube video about the topic. It was on the Instagram post. I didn't even think the Instagram post of just the thumbnail of the video would get. It got over 100 likes, right? I didn't even think the thumbnail would even do anything. The thumbnail itself had sparked more controversy and conversation, almost just as much as the video. And one guy on there was barking about, he was like shitting. He's like, I disagree with this 1000%. He's like, keys are unobtainable now because people buy them and grade them and make them, and it makes the price go up and stuff like that. I was like, dude, then you've got a problem with the comic collecting hobby. I was like, that's what it fucking is. Like, we went back and forth. Go read the exchange on
yeah, I missed that. That's definitely something I would have popped in.
It's so funny. I would have been like, dude, I was just like, your mindset basically, you don't like comic collecting. What you want is everybody to get in a fucking time machine, go back in time and pick up a book off the shelf or cover. At the end, I ended it with this. I said, hey man, I said, look, we're going to agree to disagree. The one thing we can agree on is we both wish Amazing Fantasy 15 was still 10 cents. I was like, and that's it. I was like, because that's what he wants.
Would you want it?
People. What?
Would you want Amazing Fantasy 15 if it was only 10 cents? If somebody came to you, but
yes, yeah.
What I mean is like, there'd be so many of them out there though to make it 10 cents. That's what I'm getting at. In order to make it,
you're talking about like, right? Yeah. And I was trying to explain to the guy, I was like, dude,
for $3 if you want.
Sure, yeah. I was trying to explain to the guy. I was like, dude, as much as you want everybody to have their. I'm trying to filter myself from certain political things right now.
I like this because you already said 3 or 4 things that you told me you were not going to say before the thing, and you were like, just let it ride, and I'm here for it, man.
The guy,
dumping
look,
some
here's the
gasoline, let it go.
The guy had a very and look, you love what you love. The guy had a very socialist perspective. He had a very socialist perspective. He wanted everybody to be able to get their key at an affordable price. And I'm like, dude, I was like, no matter how much you want that, I understand all of your good intentions. Our part of our hobby is still a commerce. It's still supply and demand in the hobby.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And it's just like, some people don't get that. Just some people don't realize that it's still a supply and demand. Of course, everybody wants a key for an affordable price. Like, that's why there's a finite number of out there. And there's more people that want that than the number of that's printed. I was like, that's the whole thing. And this dude was just shitting on everything because of that one reason alone. I was like, you're crazy.
Well, see, the problem is you talk about like the Bronze Age, the Copper Age, the Silver Age. Yes, those are keys because like you said the print runs are already set. You know, they're not going to keep printing them. Okay, we're not getting fooled by it. Okay. And the thing is like when you have like the modern stuff, we're like, this is a modern key. Let's talk about this. And I'm just going to keep bringing it up until it completely fails because I know it will. Let's keep talking about Spider-Boy. Let's go right here. Yeah. I finally read Spider-Man 7 or 8 where he comes out, and it's, by the way, I don't know if you've read it. It's the stupidest intro. I mean, it was not. He's like, hey guys, I'm here too. It's me, Spider-Boy. You guys have known me forever. And like, who's he? And he's like, well, fine, fuck you. And he just runs away. You know, I'm like, all right,
did you notice on the runaway his did you notice the art error? It's an error on the last 2 pages. His colors are inverted when he flies off into oblivion.
It's an error. It's an error now. More money.
It's like blue and red. His blue and red part of the outfit is reversed. In the story, it's weird.
So the thing is like we're led to believe. Okay, so look, like and again, we on like last show or the show before that we were talking about so I wanted to start kind of collecting some copper and bronze stuff, but I just don't have any kind of like sink into it yet. But the thing is like when people are buying these moderns and they're being like hawked as like super keys and things like that. There's and you've said this before a year or so ago to me. You said there's no modern book out there that should be $1,000. And by modern, I'm talking like 2020 and up. You know, there's no book out there. There's nothing. There's nobody. And then yet time and time again, we've fallen into like certain things. And it's not even the comic book industry. It's like the offshoot companies that make different covers. They like, let's say like one that we all know very well is that Eminem cover. You know, I mean, like, hey, cool. You know, back in the day, we'd see things like that and be like, oh, hey, that's cool. That's weird. But you wouldn't think like, oh, shit. Now I need to buy that. And guess what? You can only get it through special order from, you know, Unknown Comics or Anti-Hero or things like that, whoever sold it, you know, and it's like $30 a book. And then all of a sudden, dude, boom, go off and running. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not saying that started, but there's been covers. That's one of the ones preeminently that has caused a bunch of the issues now. And the Spider-Boy thing, you know, I mean, like, dude, I mean, like, again, I hope you get your money if you have them out there. I really do. But I mean, like, I definitely subscribe to the thing where you said like modern covers shouldn't be that much money. You know, it really just shouldn't be. I mean, because like there's no storyline supporting these people being worth a fuck, and there's nothing really happening in the universe as it should be so dramatic that we all can't get a copy of it somehow or another. You know? Yeah,
and yet, you know what? That brings me to another point I was going to make about the whole how the people that hate the speculation and investment side of the hobby. There's a very strong argument that can be made that speculation and investing is the whole reason why we still have comic shops on the corners of some of these streets in the cities that have them. Because name another, and I know comic shops are dying at a rapid rate. Like they are not doing well. But name another physical media type that's as prevalent still as comic shops. Have you ever been in a Best Buy lately? The Blu-ray section, I used to go there all the time for the Blu-rays because when I collected those, the Blu-ray section has dwindled down to 2 rows, and it used to be rows upon rows. Records, you know, movie, whatever. Like it's all comic is the only physical media that still has kind of a place on streets with comic shops and online. And honestly, dude, it's the investment that keeps it going. It's the speculation that keeps it going. It can't be the readers. Otherwise, if it was just the readers, then all there would need to be is online comic, like online stores, Comixology and Marvel Unlimited. So it's the part of the hobby that people hate the most, that the sole readers hate the most. It's the part of the hobby that's actually keeping the hobby afloat, you know, in my opinion. And I think there's, like I said, a really good argument to be made about that.
There's a facet to that. There's a facet to that for sure. I mean, again, like I said, that's why our friendship is so good because, you know, I do read. So I feel like but I also am a businessman. I own my own company. So like, I also know that there's a business side to everything. I mean, I want to stretch every dollar that I spend to the max. And that's why I have to kind of like turn a blind eye and say, I maximum enjoy what I'm reading, because I'm not, unless I went all in again, like I said, you did not get lucky. You were very savvy about your buying collections, and kudos to you. And that's why I appreciate you as a businessman, because you were very savvy about how you did things, and you didn't get lucky, but you definitely got you got some good return on your investments. And so I appreciate that. Now I can't go all in like you, what I'm saying? Like just because our lives are different, but you're going to find out soon enough. But our lives are different. And so what you're able to do, like it was never, I think that the reason I like you, and I know that we're friends, is because it was never a jealousy thing. I was very happy for you to get these things, and I would see you get these things, and I would be like, that's really cool. He has that. I'm glad that I get to see that in person one day. But it wasn't like, oh man, Paper Chase has his book and I don't get it. Well, fuck it. I'm going to find him in an alleyway. I'm going to fucking shiv him with an ice knife and go to his house and take his books. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't,
yeah.
I haven't thought about it. I promise you.
For a comic.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like dude, there are people out there. I mean, Clayton Crane took some dude's wife. So like there's but you want to see the investment with it. But I think that you got a point when you say like, the comic books are one of the few sustaining medias out there, because I think it's because it's so creative. There's always going to be people writing books, no matter. Okay, Best Buy is dying, period, because you can buy everything online. Like you don't need to go to Best Buy anymore. Computers, whatever, you can all buy all that online now. Computers and laptops are becoming like, you're not going to have the thing where you have to go in and like test drive a laptop anymore, because like the technology is getting to be so mutual with each other. I mean. Because everything's pinch and zoom. As long as your fucking screen can pinch and zoom, you're good. But places like Barnes and Noble will also eventually die. It just has to. It's not a sustainable thing. However, written books and paper will not die. I don't think for a long time. I mean, eventually it will have to. But I mean, that's because there's always going to be somebody who's out there learning to write and do things. That want to put their own books out. They're not going to put it out on media. And again, I'm not saying it won't, because it will eventually die out. But I mean, same thing with like the newspaper stores. Like it used to be, you could go to the newspaper store and get a bunch of different newspapers from all over the world, a bunch of different magazines. And now it's called Barnes and Nobles. And eventually that is going to have to go away as well. But comic book shops, the good ones are little community centers, and you have like a lot of paper. And you and I have talked about it before. Yeah, what the hell happens with all that extra paper? I don't know. I mean, is there a massive recycling program? What happens with it all,
Yeah. And also, I mean, doesn't it kind of say too, like, don't you think the publishers in Marvel and DC, I mean, it's like they know a giant part of the hobby is people that spec on stuff. Because why else are they releasing a new character I've never seen ever. And again, but I can't imagine as many #1 issues coming out per week as there are, or as there have been in the past couple of years, and how many new Spider people and new different variants of different characters, like just reprinting stuff, because they know there's a portion of the hobby that is addicted to, trying to capitalize on spec and trying to get that new, that character that one day in 10 years from now, somebody's got the new Miles Morales or whatever it is. So it's like the publishers know that. And it shows in what they're putting on shelves. It shows by them putting out all of these first appearances week after week after week. They know they got a certain part of the hobby by the balls, and they're going to keep buying it. They're going to keep buying it.
Sorry.
But it's also that part of the hobby again that's kind of keeping this. It's helping keeping this whole thing afloat. So I think that's just what my biggest gripe was. It's when the other side of the fence looks over the fence and says, fuck you. And it's like, dude, we're keeping this motherfucker afloat just as much as y'all are.
That's
Shut
fair.
The fuck up.
We
don't tell y'all how to, and again, I'm not on either side. I do both. And I think a lot of people, most of the comments that I got on that video was a lot of people that do both, because again, it's the better saying of, instead of buy what you love, is, fund what you love. How about that? Like, how about that for saying? Use the hobby to fund the hobby, and buy smart, instead of kind of burning money. Again, if you want to burn money, whatever.
It's hard to buy smart because you don't know what's going to be good. You know, I mean, that's why you take the gamble with the pull list.
Again, right, correct. But there's also a way, like I said, where in the video, where you can do that. You can do the whole new comic book day and buying and taking that gamble, but it's less of a gamble if you learn more about the hobby. And I really agree with the sentiment that just learning about the hobby is like exercising the love for the books that you already own. It's learning about it. It's going to make you appreciate the books that you already have, and it's going to expand on what more you could love about the hobby. You know, like how you said, like you weren't really thinking about you're doing new comic book day, and I gave you all those Spider-Man stuff, Spider-Woman stuff, sorry, from the Bronze Age and early Copper Age.
Very
and
cool.
You like it kind of and it kind of clicked in your head. You're like, I get it. Like I get why this is a thing. It's a niche in the hobby. I get the attraction here, and you wouldn't have known that unless somebody like made you experience that or let you experience that. So it's just like you can, if you learn more about the hobby, you can delve into different types and you can really define what you love, because other than that, you're just gonna, you might get tired of it. You know, if I would have never varied from Star Wars when I first started collecting, who knows, maybe I would have gotten tired of Star Wars.
Unless you can go all in and you're just trying to collect to invest, I think you're going to be depressed. You know, like comic book speculation investing is like it's like Vegas. You're not designed to win all the time. Now you may win every now and then. Like, look, let's talk about that guy who found that one card that Post Malone bought for $2.6 million. You know. Yeah,
crazy.
Look, you're not going to win. Look, has that guy spent $2.6 million in cards his entire life? No. So he won. He may have spent a lot of money, and his wife or girlfriend or mom or brother would be like, "You're wasting your time." But he won. He got that $2.6 million from Post Malone. What a beautiful video, by the way. It was really cool.
I didn't see that. I need to watch that.
You just look at Post Malone one card. Like the guy's showing him the card. The guy's like so nervous, you know. And the guy's like, I think he says like it's like he knows the price. And Post Malone looks at the card, looks at me, goes, "I'll buy it." And the guy starts crying immediately. You know, like,
oh my god,
his whole life just changed. Yeah, it's a cool video. And if you don't like Post Malone, that's fine. But when you watch this, you're gonna at least be human and be like, yeah. So, but
I don't like his music. I like him as a person, though.
Yeah, like I said, I've got no problem with his person. But hey, Rob Fan Guy. But so like you're not supposed to beat the game of comic collecting. Sure. You just, unless you're all the way in. Again, like I said, I mean, using again our good friend Jimmy from Loop Slayer. I mean, he's selling stuff and he's making his margin, and what he's selling is convenience. He's selling the fact that he has the books right here, right now on Whatnot. You can get them from him. They're packaged well, and you're going to get them for the price that he wants, and he's going to make his money, you know, but you're paying for the convenience of it, you know, and to see covers that you've never seen before. But if you're trying to do books as an investment and you can't go all in and you're only trying to buy books to invest, you're going to get fucked. Like, that's just all there is to it, you know, because you're not going to hit on all the books. You're just not. You're going to hit on a book that you thought was big money, and it isn't at all, you know?
Wait, so you're talking about somebody who's getting into the hobby is strictly in it for investment? Is that what you're saying?
Sure, let's go there. Right. Let's go there. You're not going to do it. Unless you know the community in the market, you're not going to. And even then you're still not going to do it, you know?
But here's the thing though. It's in a certain sense, it is a skill to capitalize on the comic, because it's all about knowledge. It's all about, you know, studying and knowing how to capitalize. It's knowledge and persistence. So it's knowing what to look for, and it's being persistent enough to put yourself in the scenario where you're going to find out, hey, are these books here? Garage sales, estate sales, it's, you know, all that stuff. So it's a constant grind. Honestly, one of the, I had a cool conversation at one of the cons with one of the guys. I forget the company, but he had a great, you know, setup. He had like 3-4 booths of long boxes and a ton of amazing books on the wall behind him. And we were just kind of talking about, you know, collections. And he was like, people don't realize the amount of work that goes into getting this stuff. And it's not just stumbling upon it. He's like, you know, you got to know what to look for, and then you have to put yourself out there. So that way the opportunity comes across your plate when the time is right, and then you just capitalize on it. So
Yeah.
I do think that it is something, if you are getting into it to invest, I think if you do put enough time into studying, like I said, study Key Collector, there's so much information, countless information that's on there. And just, it's all about searching your area, because everybody is limited to their space. So if you are somebody who wants to start investing in comics, you really have to capitalize on your space. And there might be already people in that space that are trying to do the same thing. So you got to show up first to places. You've got to message people.
You got to want
sales.
it. You got to
want it. You got
to want it
sales.
more. That's
you
it.
Do.
I mean, so, but like I said, like it can probably be like a bummer for people who are just trying to do this thing, and they're like, why can't I get all these cool books that everybody else gets? Well, because you're not figuring out how to get these cool books. You're not making the phone calls. You're not beating the streets. You're not looking online.
Yeah. Not only that, and it's getting tougher and easier right now. It's getting tougher and easier at the same time. Tougher in the sense that you're not getting these collections surfacing that have so many rare keys that have been untouched in an attic for, years and years. Those collections are coming out fewer and fewer. It's getting easier right now in the sense that the market is undergoing a major shift.
It's like Bitcoins, man. That whole thing where collections are sitting in granny or grandpa's attic, that time's going. As that generation dies and houses are getting sold and garages are getting, we need to there's a finite amount of time that this can even happen. And we're getting to that finite amount of time. It can't just be like, oh, in this attic someplace or this garage, it's going to end. It has to. These houses are getting, but and so then what happens? Like, look, you and I in 10 years will be talking about something like this, going like, hey, remember when the last collection was found? And it would be like the Lorax and the last tree gets cut down, and all of a sudden, everybody goes away. Like, it's gonna happen. The very last whatever is gonna be found, and we're all gonna be like, well, okay, that race to the mystery is gonna be gone.
That might be a good idea. I want to see if I can elaborate on that for a YouTube video. The Lorax, the last comic collection that would be ever be found, and just kind of like fictitiously put in what would be in it, right? The very last comic collection, like the old school collection that's found. Because that's one thing too that I've noticed, like when we follow people on Instagram and YouTube, the people that buy collections, they kind of post their collection, their big macro picture, like, hey, just got a new collection, and you see all the boxes, and and the boxes are getting newer and newer. 2 years ago, the box I just got a new collection, and you can just tell they're boxes that have been in the attic. They're kind of crummy looking, and what's getting scary is now, hey, just got a new collection. And it's the graphic boxes with, Miles Morales on them, and a CGC box. And it's like, this is somebody getting out of the hobby. This is not some collection shit that you found in somebody's attic.
And that collection is all going to be, the collection is all going to be like Image's first books and Valiant's first books. It's going to be like that stuff,
Yeah.
So real quick, talking about the investment, things like that, and then collecting what you love and whatnot. Jimmy brought up a good thing. He goes, what was the last book you bought as an investment? So Johnny, let me ask you that question first as your intrepid friend here. What is it? I know it's a question. It's an interesting question. What is the last book that, and let's take it out there and drive it a little bit. Let's just even go like a spec book that you bought as an investment that you were like, okay, you bought this book and you found it. You're like, I'm sitting on this book and I'm never going to sell it because I think this book is going to be worth a lot of money one day. And where are you with that?
There's different types of purchases. Like, I really don't buy any books that I'm like, I'm buying this single issue to invest in. I just don't. I'll do some minor moves, like for instance, like whatchamacallit, Spider-Boy. I think that would be probably the last one that I was like, I'm buying this because this might be a thing. And I bought it at $12 a copy. I got 3 of them graded. They were all CGC 9.8. I sold 2 of them, and I still have 1. I think that was the last thing. And I don't do that on a regular basis.
You bought that Venom. Who did you buy? Like Black Widow Venom, whatever?
That Black Widow. But that's not the same thing. Yeah, it's not. That was like, I really like that cover. One I'm gonna have for myself, and then the other 2 I'll probably sell on like Whatnot or something like that. But that's not like an investment by any means. I think maybe the two that I sell might pay for the one that I keep, kind of deal. It's funding the hobby, kind of deal.
Yeah, and you're right with that. And like I said, like I don't want to discredit that. I think that the people that you're talking about definitely fund the hobby. And by the way, I will tell you the Black Widow Venom thing is going to be very cool. Like I was reading the Venom where she gets it, and like that's when we were talking about. And I actually didn't realize it was Black Widow that got it. But she's such a badass character that she's going to be fucking venomized,
dude.
All day, go for it.
If there's if there's any character that should be converted into any type of arachna person whatsoever, why has it taken Black Widow this long?
The Black Widow,
dude, oh my god. So,
but I will tell you,
I think that.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
No, I think that's one of the reasons that kind of pushed me also to get that. I'm like, it was because of that alone. It's like her name's Black Widow. She's just now getting some sort of or venom powers or into that realm. It's like, dude, she was meant for this. Like, not she was meant for this. She was meant as like a spy, but like
you were meant to be symbioted. The thing was like,
just fits so well.
It's crazy though, because in the book, like I read it, and I was kind of like, I didn't even realize it, but I read it, and she's just like, she's in this wreckage someplace, and she's like, oh, who's this? And like, there's a symbiote that kind of gets in her hand, and she's like, oh, interesting. And then the book ends. Yeah. But so Leap, to answer the question, what's the last book I bought to invest? I'm going to piss you off more than Johnny. I don't even do it. There's nothing that I'm buying to invest in. I'm buying because I want to keep it, and I'm buying it because I'm reading it. I mean, my big problem is I bought a bunch of stuff when I first started that I thought would be fun to sell, but not because I wasn't investing in it. So I guess depending on the word investment, I mean, but there's nothing that I bought, I spec'd on where I was kind of like, this is going to be big money at some point.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm lying. I bought that Fantastic Four with Pybok, thinking that he was going to be a big character. And I thought maybe that'd be big money. Joke's on me. Didn't even show up in the show at all. But no, I think I think to kind of start to put a little pin on everything, there's a multitude of ways of looking at things, and I think that you saying buy what you love is just kind of maybe even a cop out. It's like, why do you have the right to tell me what to buy? And you should expound on that more. But that's kind of where I'm taking this. I mean, it's like there's so much more you can say that makes sense rather than saying that.
Bingo. I mean, that's it. Like, yeah, what you just said, that's it. There's a lot more things you could say that would do good, that would be more helpful to other people in whatever stage that they're in the hobby. And like I said, at the very least, you're just preaching to the choir. It's like at the very least, if it's, you could say a lot more things. Ask somebody the question, what do you love to buy? Rather than tell them buy what you love, like start the conversation. If it's such a community thing,
which will buy this.
You
will buy this.
But yeah, I think for me, the investment side for me has always been buying collections. I love finding comic collections, and that's part of, I would say that's like 30% of my love of this hobby is the treasure hunt. It's the finding the collections and, buying that, that's mountain of books and what am I going to find in here? I love that stuff.
Of course. Of course. That's awesome.
Love it. It's so much fun. And I love the.
You're what's wrong with the hobby, Johnny. You're what's wrong with the hobby because you're going to mine out all the collections, and then no one's going to have it, and then 10 years from now there'll be no more collections, and it'll be because of you. And then what's going to happen is people are going to start hiding books, be like, look what I found, and it's really like 2015 books,
yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah, I'm somebody actually contacted me today about a collection. They're like, yeah, I got these books, found these books, and he started sending me videos of it. I'm like, nah, man, it's just stuff. I'm like, I got stuff like this sitting in my office. It's just, I can't move this stuff. So along with collections, buying collections now, there's more and more things that just take up space. Unfortunately, that's going to be hard to get rid of.
Which brings me to Johnny. I'm pretty sure we need to have a sale soon. Don't we? We'd like dump some stuff. Do. Should we have like a sale on whatnot or something like that? Like a few drinks and some books, get rid of them? Because I got 600 books that need to go. Not that I don't love them, but like I got to get rid of them,
Right, so. Right. We'll probably do a sale next week?
Possibly.
We'll do next week.
Sounds good.
So just stay tuned on Instagram and stuff. We'll probably release there the date and stuff like that. But we'll do a joint sale and get Jono involved, and
absolutely,
it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna close this up real quick. Just a reminder: Sunday, cool video coming out. The evolution of comic books. How did we get from the very first comic to the current modern comic book? 11 issues that I think were complete monumental, and they literally changed things, and it's really
they better
cool
be good.
To see. Yeah. Oh, they're great. Fun stuff. So that comes out Sunday at 10:35. So you can go over to the page and hit the notification bell so you don't forget. And then hit the like button on your way out. Go check out the video of the Buy What You Love Is Bullshit that I did. And if you really believe in that message, if you even care to share it, or if you feel as strongly as I did about it, you can share the video. That is a thing. But again, I don't want to be like this poster child for this saying here, but it's just something that got under my skin, and I was like, you know what? I feel this certain way. Let me just see if anybody else feels the same way.
We're all going to rally behind you, Johnny. There's going to be a great march on something, and I don't know what we're going to march on, but we're going to march, and we're going to march behind you, and we're going to be, hell no, don't buy what you love,
Don't buy what you love.
Stop buying what you love.
Invest only.
Invest in wise decisions. I mean, like, we're really in the end, we're talking about little books, little funny books. Remember they used to call them funny books? Hey, you got your little funny books right there, And what I want to do is what I want to do. I feel that you and I should go out on like little adventures and find like niche people. Like I want to go find the person who's like the rabid Archie collector, like today. The person who's collecting modern Archie books. I want to go to I want to do things like that. We should have like on the road stuff. We really should. We go on the road and look and like do a little documentaries on certain things.
Yeah, I feel like we'd have to scour Instagram and stuff for that. Scour Instagram to see look at people's pages and say, all right, this person's got a lot of Archie. And that might not be actually a bad idea for I don't know, just different podcasts. Not even to go find them in person, but to invite them on and be like, hey, I see you collect Mountains of Zombie Tramp. Why are you so weird? Or whatever. I like it. It's got its own niche. Buy what you love.
Yeah, buy what you love, man. Buy some Zombie Tramp, And look, let me tell you what, man. In the early days of Whatnot, I mean, I used to see Zombie Tramps go for $50 and $20 a book. I was like, what the fuck? But again, the new Rev no longer judges any of your shitty purchases. You know what I'm saying? I will not.
I want to know too, I really want to know. I want to delve more into because it excited me when you said you want to start dabbling in the Bronze and Silver Age. I really want to know. I want to help you figure out what you love in that aspect of collecting, because it is such a fun. I just don't know. I know where I go with it, and I know what attracts me, but I want to help you figure out whatever it is that sparked your interest in it. I want to help you follow that through.
It's going to be character driven. It's going to be character driven. I have to find some character that I light on that I'm like, oh, this character's cool. So I'm going through. I kind of looked at stuff. Like I said, obviously Spider-Woman is one that caught my attention because she was on the cusp of that stuff. But I mean, we can get that run. But I mean, like I said, I got to go back even further. The problem is that my childhood takes place in the 80s and 90s, So I mean,
sure,
that's not hard to get. So I got to find, and that's not bronze, that's not copper, or that's not bronze at all, So I got to Silver Age. I got to go back and. So real quick before we get out of here, are we considering Gold Age just Superman #1? Is that what is Gold Age? What does Gold Age take place? What's the Golden Age?
Golden Age is 1935 until 1956.
And that's not a hard number. It's just right there, right? It's right around that area.
Something like that. Yeah, that's pretty much the cusp of it. And then you've got Silver, which is from 56. I mean, there's no definitive. The only era that has a definitive issue, boom, this is the end of this era and the start of this one, which I talk about in the video on Sunday, is Green Lantern 76, which is basically the death of the Silver Age, the birth of the Bronze Age. And for those of you that might be familiar with that, I elaborate more on the video, but that's only the really one that's boom, this is the time. Yeah, of course it meshes like just anything. There's no Nobody was coming out here saying, "Well, we're done with the Silver Age."
Oh, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. What's up, kiddo? Oh, 1 second here. You keep going, Johnny. I'm gonna give my kid a hug.
Okay. Aw. Rob Fanga, I feel seen. Yes, sir. I see you. Any day. Let's see. He wants to help you grow as a person. Any day but Tuesday. Is that any day but Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday, please? Oh, that's your days. All right. So if you all want to see Leaps on Whatnot, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, that's when Leaps sells on Whatnot.
Yes, he's going to sell an affordable price, good-looking book for you. It'd be nice.
Maybe shit, man. We could do a thing where Leaps joins us on a sale. Like, can he? Like virtually?
He can, but you won't be able to see him. He's a very well hidden person. He likes to be a mystery. You know?
I understand that.
Yeah, I'll do whatever, man. I'm good. I'll just bring my books here.
No, Tuesday, Thursday. So Wednesday or Friday. What time you go live, Leaps? Put it in the chat real quick so we can let everybody know, and so we can make sure we don't cross the streams, as the Ghostbusters would say.
Do that, yeah. But anyway, so to kind of put a pin on it, I guess don't buy what you love.
Look, man. It's fucking like I said at the end of the video. Do you remember what I said at the end of the video?
Damn it! Why would you do that to me, Johnny? I don't remember what you said at the end of the video. You put some curse words.
I said, I did. It was a curse word. I said, buy whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And that's
You're
it.
like, burn them up. You know, of course, I remember.
Yeah, buy whatever the fuck you want.
Big fan.
Nobody's judging everybody. Nobody's judging anybody, man. Just buy whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of any part of the hobby. You know, delve in all.
Well, we will.
Rev has struck me this today. Before we went on, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen you this way since we first met. That's exactly how he looked when we first met. I haven't seen him like that since.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Crazy.
Well, hey, you're next, buddy. Let's give it a little shave. What do you say, huh?
I will.
I wouldn't even know. I don't think I've ever seen you without a beard as well. And look,
really,
the crazy thing is, y'all, is he actually, as he said before, he actually dyes his beard gray. He feels like it's more distinguished. If anything,
you'll see it a little darker from time to time because I'll dye it a little darker. I'm not afraid of the gray, but like the gray comes like, I don't know. I don't want to be gray before I'm meant to be gray. I'm only 37. You know, shit, you look younger than me right now.
Well, you know. Hey, look, real quick, and I got to get out of here because I know that it's time. But Rob Fan Guy, yes. Got the Kelly Thompson Black Widow. So good. You're going to enjoy it. I enjoyed that run. And I actually have it for sale because it's got to go. But I love that run. Adam Hughes does all the covers. That is such a good read. You're going to read it in one night. It was such a good thing. Anyway, all right. I got to go, Johnny. So get us out of here. Everybody, thank you so much for watching.
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Go check out Rev's page on Instagram. And you know where to find us all. But we love you. That's all we really want to say. Love y'all. Thank you for hanging out. Next Thursday night, we'll be back here doing something else. So,
later, y'all.
Have a good night. Later. Woo-hoo.